about all morning?
Who's talking about all morning?
Well, how long are you going to be?
About a quarter of an hour.
I can't wait that long. You'll have to move.
Who says I will?
I've got to get out. I've got to be at the office in 10 minutes. It's very important.
And I've got this skip to load.
Look, don't just walk away when I'm talking to you.
Why? What are you going to do?
Excuse me. You do realise you're obliged by law to move this lorry?
Who says?
I do. I'm a police officer. You're causing an obstruction. So if you'll kindly do as I say, you can move it back when you've let this gentleman by.
I'm sick of it, I'll tell you that. The time I've wasted shunting up and down this road.
Yeah, we're all sick of it round here, sir. We've had to put up with this for God knows how many months now.
Thanks, Mr. Beck.
Just be careful, Peter. Don't go losing your rag.
Well, look at this. Look what they've done.
Nasty. How did that happen?
I was trying to get past that generator. There's one of their cars parked there. There was that much room. No one to guide me out, of course. There never is when you want them.
You should have reported it.
Oh, what's the point? It's done now. Time I've spent on her. And the money.
A lad of your age, you ought to find some nice girl to spend your money on.
I did. She got bored. Just hang on! You kept me waiting long enough. You hang on a bit.
You'll get yourself in trouble.
Poor old Joe, though.
What's poor about him?
Well, having to drag all the way over to the other end of town to get his washing done. It's sort of undignified.
You're spoilt, George. You men are all the same. You've all been mollycoddled. You wouldn't say it was undignified if a woman had to do it, would you?
Ah, well, that's different.
How different is it? You mean it'd be perfectly all right if you saw me slogging over to the laundrette on my day off? You wouldn't think twice about that?
No, I think you're being a bit unfair there. I think I would.
No, you wouldn't.
All I said was poor old Joe.
And all I'm saying is that there are thousands of women who do what he does, have a full-time job and run a home. Some even manage to hold down extremely responsible jobs and work extremely long hours, somehow.
What did I say?
Do you think perhaps a strain's beginning to tell, Sarge?
What?
Mr. Darby's absence.
Ah, well, perhaps you're right. So, what are we supposed to do about it?
I don't know. I mean, speaking personally, I'm willing to do all I can, of course. Between you and me, Sarge, fretting I'm a bit young for her.
Don't be impertinent.
Maybe I should go around and ask if I can use a washing machine.
I was talking about helping her, Joe, not taking advantage of her amenities.
I wouldn't dream of taking advantage of her amenities. I was just thinking of giving her a bit of company, that's all. Loneliness is a terrible thing, you know.
And, of course, it would help you with the problem of what to do now the laundrette's closed down.
It is a bit of a sweat, George, I admit that. I used to be able to just pop across the road.
Do you mind if I have another one?
Seeing as you bought it now.
Heck's that?
No idea.
Come on, Joe. Come on. Excuse me.
What is it? What's the matter?
It's all right, love. I'm a police officer, friend of Sergeant Beck's. Joe.
Oh, Mr. Beck, it's you.
Evening, Mrs. Bull. Did you hear a noise, love?
Did I? I'll say I did. From in there.
I'll go and take a look.
Do you hear that? I just got him off to sleep. There was this terrible banging right next to his room. It's bad enough in the day. You think they'd stop at night?
Yeah, well, you get back inside, love.
Well, I'll never get him off now. I know I won't.
Oh, I'm sure you will. Anyway, we'll see it doesn't happen again. You all right, George?
Oh, God. All right, I'm coming.
Made a thorough job of it, didn't they?
Why couldn't it happen in your street?
Kids, you reckon?
Could be. Anyway, there's not much damage done.
How did they get in?
Like we did, I should think. Found a bit of damaged hoarding and climbed in. The windows aren't in yet, so there's no problem.
So you didn't disturb anyone?
No, ma'am.
Didn't see anyone at all or hear anyone going?
No. I mean, apart from a neighbour who came out because of the noise, it was totally silent by the time we got there.
And how quickly did you get there, Joseph?
Well, we were off duty, relaxing like. We weren't expecting anything.
You mean you poured yourself a couple of drinks first, had a few jokes before you went to look?
No, I don't mean that at all.
Well, we shall have to keep our eye on the place.
Yeah, I'll fix that up right away, ma'am.
Why they want to build an office block in a place like that, I can't imagine.
It's cheap, I suppose. Anyway, it's not just offices. The bottom part's going to be what they call a fast food store.
What, hamburgers, that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that'll be nice, won't it? We could do with something like that round here. Be a useful amenity. Liven the place up a bit.
That's what some of us fear, ma'am.
Hey, that means we're slap bang on target again, doesn't it?
Aye, we're going great guns now, Mr. Rennick.
Oh, I'm relieved to hear that. I mean, that means there's going to be no problems over that completion day, doesn't it?
I hope not, no.
Aye, so do I, because if there had been, well, we'd have been in dead trouble, that's all. But then you know that, don't you?
I'm aware of that, yeah.
Aye, of course you are. You know, I've got every faith in you, Ken, lad.
There is one thing.
Aye?
We had a spot of bother last night. Some kids broke in.
Kids?
But don't worry. It won't happen again. I rang up the glazier first thing. He'll be starting Monday week.
Well, what the excuse that? Sticking a few panes of glass in?
I don't see what else we can do. Unless we get a security firm in.
We cannot afford that. Look, I pay you good money to manage this side, don't I?
I'm sorry, I don't see what else we can do.
Well, I'll tell you what you can do. If there's any more of these break-ins in, you can put up a bed and you can stop here until you've got it sorted out and caught them. That's what I used to do, you know, when I started out. And believe me, that's the only thing that works, the only thing. Well, I realise I'm asking a lot, Inspector. I know how busy and overworked you must all be.
Not at all, Mr. Rennick. Vandalism is vandalism, and twice in 2 nights is twice too many.
You know, that's taking a great load off my mind.
However, if you could make sure that your site's as secure as possible, that would help.
Oh, I will. Indeed, I will. I suppose it's small beer for you, isn't it? A wash basin one night and the upstairs fittings the next. But you see, it's all the time and the money.
You have every right to have your property protected.
The fact is, our completion date's only 6 weeks off. We've had a hell of a time with this job already. I mean, we live in hand-to-mouth, you know. I mean, if we end up having to pay penalty payments on top of everything, well, I mean... Well, we can't, that's all. The bank think I'm overspending as it is. They're already threatening to call in the loan, and there's no way they're going to lend me another penny. I don't know what you're expected to do.
Still, I'm sure when your fast food shop opens...
Oh, it's in mine. I wish it were. I wish to hell I was in a business like that. No, I'm just the poor mug who built the damn thing. Somebody else will make all profit. You know, things are so bad at the minute that I wouldn't tell that to just anybody, you know. But I've built this business up. I've built this whole business up right from scratch. I've met sacrifices you wouldn't believe. And there's no way I'm going to see it ruined. There's no way I'm going to see my whole life ruined just for... Well, not for nobody. You do see what I mean, don't you?
What's wrong with hamburgers?
Nothing's wrong with them if you like that sort of thing.
I love them.
Personally, I prefer making my own fast food. I call it scrambled egg on toast, and it takes me 3 minutes.
Joseph, are you planning on being at home tonight?
Yes, Mum, I think so.
Good, excellent. I'd like you to keep an eye open for any intruders on that building site, if you wouldn't mind.
Of course, Mum. I'm only sorry I was out last night.
Just try not to fall asleep in front of the television, all right? And it might be an idea if Peter keeps observation. What do you think?
Excellent idea, Mum.
How long for, Mum?
Well, we're still assuming it's kids, aren't we? Pack up about 10 o'clock. That should be quite late enough.
caught 'em then, have you?
I've had my ears open.
Cup of tea?
Coffee, please. Black with no sugar. Keep me on my toes.
Tea with 2 sugars, and be grateful.
So,
Evening, Ernie.
Joe?
you don't think it's a bit conspicuous, Sarge?
What?
Announcing our presence like that?
You're not saying Ernie Waitman did it, my next-door neighbour at his age?
I'm not saying he did it, no. I'm just saying you can't rule anyone out, can you? I mean, look at the mess they're making of his street.
It's my street too.
Ah, well, exactly. Both got motives, haven't you?
Listen, be careful what you say. Be very careful.
It's true, though.
Look, there's 50 houses in my street. We've all got motives if it comes to that.
Exactly.
Don't keep saying that.
All I'm saying is you can't rule any...
well, I think I'll be getting back.
Sarge!
Anything else you want me for, Mum?
No, George, you go off home. Forget about this place for a few hours. Oh, sounds like a wonderful idea to me. Remind your children who their father is.
Oh, they know he is all right. He's the bad-tempered one, always wants him in bed as soon as he gets in.
Sure that's not true, George. I bet you're a right softy. Go on, aren't you?
Well, that's what the wife always says.
Good night.
There was something else I wanted to ask, as a matter of fact. We were wondering, the wife and I, if you'd like to come round for supper some night.
Oh, thank you. I'd love to. Which night?
Well, whatever suits you. Next week sometime.
Well, at a guess, I should say there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
What about Sunday?
And Sunday, yes. Funny, for some reason my diary isn't exactly packed at the moment.
Sunday, then.
Good. I'll see the boys, will I?
If you like.
Of course I'd like. Good heavens.
Well, it's up to you, of course, but we were thinking of it more as a civilised, grown-up evening. Lock the animals in their cages, you know, so we could actually talk to each other, that sort of thing. Trouble is, you see, they're at that difficult age.
I thought they were all different ages.
Oh, aye, but it's a difficult period, you know.
No, I don't.
Between the ages of 1 and 18. Still, they tell me it gets better.
Go home, George, at once.
I don't.
Waste of time, not a sign of anyone.
You know, I've been thinking on this question of motives.
I was thinking about that myself. I'm sure I'm wrong, Sarge. Have to be mad to think they could get away with it.
No, you see, the thing is, old Ernie has got a motive, in a way.
What sort of motive?
If you'll let me finish.
Sorry.
Him and his wife, they're a bit of a strange couple. They moved here about 3 years ago. I mean, they're friendly enough, but they keep themselves to themselves.
I don't see.
Listen, the thing is, when they heard the laundrette was going to be knocked down, they went mad. Not because it was the laundrette, they hated that. It was the building, you see. It was Victorian or something. Anyway, they thought it had character.
Yeah, I remember it. It were a wreck.
Yeah, well, they didn't think so. And you should have seen the way they went at it. Right into the local paper. They even got in touch with, what was it, the Victorian Society. Did you know there was a Victorian Society?
In Hartley?
No, not in Hartley, no. Anyway, they did the damnedest. But it didn't do them any good in the end, none at all.
So?
So there's your motive.
Where? I don't see.
Resentment, frustration, call it what you like, simmering away all the time, then suddenly bursting out.
Oh, that old man you said hello to.
Happens all the time, the quiet ones. Suddenly snapping, deciding they've had enough.
Like Crippen, you mean?
A bit like Crippen, aye. Not a lot, but a bit. Evening.
Evening, Joe.
You were out late.
I've been posting my pool's coupon. Always post it Wednesday.
That a fact?
Aye, never miss.
You might as well have waited till morning. Last post went ages ago.
I know, it's working late. Puts me routine right out. Still, I like to think it's on its way. All I've got to do now is wait till the cheque arrives.
That's right. So how long have you been waiting so far?
Oh, 20 years. Or is it 25? Still, it'll come one day.
I'm sure it will.
Night then, Joe.
Night, Ernie.
Someone deserves locking up.
What's happened?
They've only emptied half a dozen bags of cement all over the floor. It'll be rock solid by now. It's like a furnace in there.
Just calm down.
They turned the central heating on. It's incredible. You know what they've done? They've stuck little holes, like pinpricks, all along the pipes. We found it just now. All the water's set the cement. It'll take hours to chip it off.
Doesn't sound like kids, does it?
Who knows nowadays? He'll have my guts for garters, Mr. Rennick will. I thought you lot were meant to be keeping watch last night.
Aye, we were.
Well, what happened then?
If you don't mind, ma'am, I'd like to chase this up myself.
Why's that, Joseph?
Because it happened in my street, because I know the people in it. I could likely get more out of them than anyone else could.
What if it turns out to be an old friend, someone you go drinking with?
I don't drink with anyone from our street, ma'am.
You know what I mean?
All right, I'll be frank with you. I think somebody's trying to make a monkey out of me. I want to get to the bottom of it.
I'm sorry, Joseph. I think you're getting too close to it. It'd be better if I put George onto it.
I think that might be a mistake, ma'am.
Yes, of course you do. Anyway, you can tell all your suspicions to George. I'm sure he'll welcome them. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I don't know what she thinks she's playing at. I call it ridiculous. Well, I ask you, don't you?
What's ridiculous, Joseph?
Nothing, ma'am.
Good. Get hold of CID for me, will you? I don't know where they are at the moment. Tell them I want the damage on the site photographed and I want it fingerprinting.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to have another chat with Mr. Rennick. You never know. Might even have some ideas for us.
CID.
Let's do what the lady says.
Fat lot of fingerprints you'll get from a pile of cement.
Partly police. Oh, Tom. No, I'm afraid she's just gone out. Yes, of course I'll tell her. Any message? No, that's fine, I'll do that. Bye for now. Mr. Darbley. Touching, I call that. Falling all that way in the middle of the day. Just for a chat.
Probably had a row.
You've got no heart, have you? No sense of romance. You'll never make sergeant, you know, without a sense of romance. See you later.
Well, it's a disaster, isn't it? It's a real disaster. But it's what I said. I knew it'd happen.
How did you know?
Well, it's life, isn't it? I mean, you put your heart and soul into some of everything you've got, and that's when they come along. And they whip it away right from under your feet.
Well, it's not such a major disaster. 3 acts of vandalism, 2 of them minor. We must just make sure there isn't a 4th and catch whoever's doing it.
Are you married? You're, aren't you?
Yes, I am. But
Aye, so are I. Once upon a time. Very happily married, I thought. I worked at it. Hard. And then some damp smoothie came along and took her off just like that. That's when I came over here and started up this business. Oh, they all said I was damn crackers back home, you know. Jacking in a nice, secure job, eh? Starting up on my own, my time of life. But I didn't care. I put the hours in, you know. I'm not afraid of hard work. Hard work never killed nobody. And that's when it starts going good for you. But that's also when you've got to be very, very careful. You mustn't start caring, you see. Because they're up there. All time, waiting, watching, ready to pounce. I think they like watching us squirm. You think I'm daft, don't you? I can see you do. I'm not, you know.
About this petition of yours, Mr. Wakeman.
It was Dorothy's idea originally. We got quite a few signatures. Well, it was a beautiful building, you see.
Well, I wouldn't have called it beautiful exactly.
Well, it could have been if some money had been spent on it. Instead of knocking it down for some modern monstrosity. What's the point in that?
Some people call it progress, I suppose.
Look, would you mind putting one of them little coasters underneath? It's not me, it's Dorothy. I mean, the thing is, it was listed, officially listed. That means something.
Really?
Well, it didn't mean so much to me either, not till we went into it. But the Victorian Society was very keen to take it up. They said it had townscape importance.
Townscape?
Importance means it gave the place a bit of character. Quite right, too, it did.
So then you and this Victorian Society complained to the council?
To the planning committee. It was a great help it being listed. They couldn't ignore that. We almost had them then, you know. It was a great feeling. And then, I don't know, it slipped through our fingers somehow.
Still feel bad about it, do you?
Why not? Have a right to feel the way I like, haven't I?
Oh, of course, I didn't mean...
I know what you mean, don't worry. But if you think I've been shinning over walls at my age, pouring cement everywhere, well, you're dafter than I thought.
Don't think I mentioned cement.
You what? You're not serious. Somebody told me. I don't know. Joe, I think it was. Ah, that's right, it was Joe, this morning.
Well, we have to check these things.
And I'll tell you one thing. I mean, personally, I hope you never find these vandals. All power to them, that's what I say.
That's not a very helpful attitude, Mr. Wakeman.
I'll go further. I hope they blow the place up. Oh, I do. Do you know what they're going to do? They're going to open a what-you-call-it and sell hamburgers.
Yes, I had heard.
I know what that'll lead to. There'll be motorbikes revving up and down the road, empty boxes and bags thrown everywhere. It'll be hell round here. Just like Blackpool.
Don't think it'll be quite like Blackpool.
All right, you can laugh if you want. Well, all I can say is I'm glad if we've caused them a bit of trouble, because they're going to cause us a hell of a lot more than we've caused them.
Any road about the place. I mean, I got it at a knockdown price. Like I said, it was a wreck.
I remember.
There was only one problem, Tyler. One possible problem, as I could see. You see, I'd already got one site underway, so I knew I was going to be a bit stretched starting another. I mean, we're only a small firm, you know. But then, I pre-let the ground floor.
To the fast food people?
Aye. I mean, I wouldn't have got the load otherwise. And then I thought, well, you can't lose now, can you? You've cracked it, lad. You can't possibly lose. I mean, I didn't think there was going to be any problem with the planning permission. And there wouldn't have been if I hadn't suddenly found the whole conservationist, environmentalist, you name it, lobby right on my back. Do you know how long it took me to get that lot off? 3 months, 3 whole months. We interest at God knows what %. Fortunately, I do have a few mates on the planning committee. You know, blokes with a bit of common sense. I mean, they actually realised I was going to be providing jobs, you know, work. Folk forget that, don't they?
So you finally got it through, and then what happened?
Well, it's been one long battle, hasn't it? Trying to meet the completion date, trying to catch up. And then, last month, well, that's when I should have packed it all in, you know. I can see that now. They was giving me a fair warning. I'll give them that.
This was before the vandalism?
Aye. Upstairs. There's a nice little suite of offices. Yeah. Very nice, that. Bit pricey. Still, a few years ago, you know, that lot would have gone just like that. But now... Well, put it this way, I was dead chuffed to get rid of them. I really was. Firm of accountants. They took the time making up their mind, but when they did, they signed on the dotted line, they put down a nice deposit that couldn't have been nicer. Great relief to all concerned, me mainly.
And?
They pulled out last month.
Can they do that?
A bit hard to stop them if they haven't got the brass, isn't it? I mean, a firm of accountants, eh? You'd think they'd know, wouldn't you? So you see, I'm right up the creek. Without all this. You know, I can just about pay the men. Just about. There's no way I can pay me bills. Or the subcontractors, no way at all.
Last night?
I just wondered, you'd be in the nearest house.
No, not a thing.
What about the night before?
Night before. I heard that.
You did?
That's what I said.
Well, you didn't tell us. You didn't phone us or anything.
That's right.
Why was that then?
Because I haven't got a phone, have I? I can't just go out and leave the kids. It's against the law. Or didn't you know that?
What about your husband?
What about him?
Couldn't he have gone?
Not really. He's in Hartlepool. He moved out 6 months ago. Said it was too much for his nerves. He couldn't stand it.
The building?
No, the kids. 3 under 5. Oh, and before you ask, it's all right. The other two are up the street. I haven't done them in or anything. Not yet, anyway.
Well, I'm sorry about your husband. But it would help if you could tell us if you hear or see of anything again. I mean, you could always pop across to Sergeant Beck. I don't think we'd have the law on you for that.
And what's in it for me if I do? I don't suppose they'll stop their banging and the drilling and their hammering. Not just for me.
They've got to finish it, haven't they? You can't just leave it half-built, you can see that.
All I see is we're all out for number one. No one gives a monkeys about me, so why should I give them monkeys about them? You know, I reckon they wait. They really do. Till I've got him settled. Then they start.
Still, all be finished soon. A couple of months, they'll all be gone.
I reckon they'll finish me before that.
The place is seething, Mum. It's a hotbed of resentment. I mean, at one point, I'd almost decided they'd all got together to do it.
What did you decide in the end?
Well, there's one or two of them capable of it, yes. Trouble is, you can't help sympathising with them in a way.
That doesn't mean you're sympathising with the vandals, too.
No, of course not.
Good. Now, there's something else. Something Rennick said. I might be wrong, but it struck me we could be barking up the wrong tree altogether.
What, you mean it isn't anyone living in the area?
I don't know. I'm just raising possibilities. I certainly don't think it's kids, not after last night. Rennick's in a state of acute anxiety. He's on the verge of going bust. And he said something about not being able to pay his subcontractors. He hasn't been able to pay for a few weeks. Now, if we're looking for a motive, that's a pretty good one, isn't it?
What, not getting paid?
Well, I think I'd feel pretty aggrieved if I wasn't paid for the work I'd put in here. Wouldn't you be?
Maybe, but I wouldn't start smashing up the police station.
It's a possibility, though.
So what about Rennick himself? If he's going broke, like you say, it could be he's done it himself. He could claim on the insurance, after all.
Check it out, George. What sort of insurance he's got. And get a list from him of everyone he hasn't paid. Subcontractors, suppliers, the lot, first thing in the morning.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want an all-night observation kept on that site from tonight. And don't use Sims this time. Get a fresh face.
Right. Oh, your husband phoned earlier, and you were out.
Did he say what he wanted?
No, but he rang at peak rates, so thought it might be important.
I doubt it. Probably at the taxpayer's expense.
Pardon?
Nothing. Oh, Tom? Well, you're in love. Well, I'm surprised, that's all. Thought you had better things to do of an evening. It's not meant to sound like sour grapes, no. No, I'm fine. So, what was the purpose of your peak hour phone call? George Parish was fascinated. I hope the college wasn't paying. Sunday? Oh, yeah. But I thought you said... You're not fed up, are you? Oh, no, that'd be lovely. Oh, there is just one thing. If you're planning to stop overnight, because I'm going out Sunday evening. Oh, well, for dinner, as a matter of fact. With someone? Well, yes, of course. It's not much fun otherwise, is it? Never you mind who with. Look, I thought we trusted each other.
There's that fella Rennick sitting outside in his car and he's drinking. And there's another car parked across the street with a young couple in it. Hang on a minute.
Listen, Joe, about that car. Joe?
Hey! You! Get...
Get out.
What?
I'm a police officer and you're drunk. I'm having you for drunken driving.
See which way you went?
Hey?
I'm a police officer.
That's funny, so am I.
There he is.
So, you didn't smash the wash basin?
No.
Or the toilet?
No.
And you didn't throw cement over everything either?
Right.
But you do admit to throwing a few bricks?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that? I mean, I wouldn't want you saying I was putting pressure on you. What's 5 witnesses, after all? One to deny the lot.
I threw the bricks. That's all I did.
It's a bit odd, isn't it? You turning up on the 4th night when there've been incidents on the other 3.
Oh, I can't help that.
Look, you're just wasting time.
Well, what do you expect me to do? I didn't do it. That's the truth.
Look at it from where I'm standing. You know quite a bit about you. Oh, you got a bit of a temper for a start. Have a nasty habit of threatening people.
Oh, well, you got it all worked out then, haven't you? Young bloke, loses his temper a bit. It's logical. Cop in for the lot. Only trouble is, I'm saying nothing. Except you're balmy. So, what are you going to do now?
Why do these things always happen when I'm just settling down to a good programme on the telly?
Murphy's second law of motion, ma'am.
I think it is. What's the matter, Joseph?
Can I have a word, ma'am?
Yeah, I suppose so. Where's our culprit?
Talking to Sergeant Palish, ma'am.
Mr. Reddick?
Seems to be well over the limit to me, ma'am. He's been seen by the doctor.
First offence?
Second, says he wants a word waiting for you.
All right, Joseph, come on. You saw it all, then?
Yes, ma'am.
You're not putting in for overtime, I hope?
No, it's not that.
Right, then. Out with it.
It's just... Well, I think I ought to have been told, ma'am, about tonight.
Tonight, I'm not with you.
It's one thing putting George Parish onto this instead of me. I can see your reasoning there. But I think I have a right to know what's going on. I mean, in my own street and all. I don't think that's too much to ask.
You mean you didn't know that we're having the place watched?
No, I didn't. Nobody told me. I thought they were just an ordinary courting couple. It could have been extremely embarrassing for them as well as for me. Not only that, I nearly went out and had a word with them, which would have given the whole game away, so... Well, I think I ought to have been told, ma'am, that's all.
You're right. Cock up in the works, Joseph. Failure of communication. I'm sorry.
Well, that's good of you, ma'am.
It was getting difficult to use our own people in case they were recognised, so we dragooned a couple of coppers over from the Broughton section, on loan from Inspector Foster.
Yeah, I gathered something of the sort. Anyway, from my observation, they seem to be enjoying themselves.
Don't think I wish to know that, Joseph.
No, of course not.
However, I do wish to know about this lad we've got in, this neighbour of yours. Now, today's not the first time his car's been damaged, is it?
No, it's not. But it seems he'd just come back from the garage. They told him how much it was going to cost. He was thinking he might have to get rid of it. That's what did it, I'd say, Mum.
Which would explain why he chucked the bricks. But does it explain the break-ins?
I wouldn't say he's the malicious type, if that's what you mean.
Those two coppers, are they still on observation?
No, they didn't see much point.
Well, then get someone out there, Joseph. Anyone but now.
I could go myself, Mum.
Yes, right. Yeah. Yes, I'll speak to Inspector Foster. Put him through. Hello, Bill. You must be telepathic. We're just talking about you. How are your two lovebirds? What?
That's been banned for 3 years. Do you know that?
Yes, I do, sir.
It's the end, this is.
So it comes with drinking and driving, I'm afraid.
I was doing a U-turn. That's all. That's hardly driving, is it, a U-turn? I wouldn't hardly call that driving at all.
Peter.
Oh.
Yes, in a minute,
Inspector,
Mr. Rennick. Sergeant Parrish still with that young lad?
Yes, ma'am. We just took him in a cup of tea. But I don't think he's getting very far.
Let's go over it again, shall we?
Sergeant.
He's as stubborn as a mule. He says he knows nothing about the other nights, just tonight. I can't get him to budge an inch. If you'd like to have a go, Mum.
No, that won't be necessary. I've just had a word with Inspector Foster. His lads took in a bloke tonight, caught him red-handed smashing up a new chemist's shop. He's asked for 4 other offences to be taken into account. One of them is our little building site.
Can't be.
Oh, can't it? That's what I'm going to find out. But hold your horses, George, in the meantime. We don't want that young man confessing to things he had nothing to do with, do we?
No, Mum.
Right, Mr. Rennick. Would you like to follow me?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Inspector. Thank you. It's very kind of you to spare me your time.
Not kind at all. I want to ask you some questions.
Me? Oh?
Now, Mr. Rennick, I want you to think very carefully. Do you remember employing a man called Baker, Harry Baker, at any time?
Harry Baker? Why, of course I do. Why?
How long was this for?
Oh, well, a couple of months. I mean, I'd have to check. He did a lot of work for us. He's a plumber. What for?
Good man, is he good at his work?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had no complaints, as I can recall. Why, what's all this about?
And for how much of this time did you manage to pay him, if at all?
Oh, of course I paid him. Well, for first month. After that, like I said, it was... Harry Baker. Is that who did it? It is, isn't it? Well, of all the rotten...
It works both ways, I should have thought. I doubt if Mr. Baker has many kind words for you.
Oh, come on. What else could I do? I mean, I didn't have the money. It's as simple as that.
I gather Mr. Baker's heard that from quite a few customers recently.
Look, I don't know all about that. But, I mean, it's no excuse for busting up the property, well, is it?
No, of course it's not, and he'll be prosecuted.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. Personally, I hope they send him to the tower. I'd have squared up with him as soon as I got stuff sorted out. Of course I would.
It's a bit late for that, I'm afraid. Harry Baker went bust last week. His business collapsed on account of what I believe they call cash flow, or rather, the lack of it.
I see. I didn't know.
No, of course you didn't. And as you said, that is no excuse to go smashing up other people's property. Is it?
Right. Right. You know, I'd no idea. Well, I mean, you don't, do you? I mean, you get so wrapped up in your own stuff that you don't think other folk have got... Makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, What are we all doing? I mean, we're all out there flogging his guts out. I mean, what for? Just to survive, I suppose.
Now, about that word you wanted with me.
No, forget it. Thanks for your help. Can I go now?
Oh, Tom! I'm sorry, love. I know it's late. I didn't mean to get you up. Nothing. Just felt like a talk, that's all. End of the day feeling, you know? We've always talked at the end of the day. I miss you too.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sunhill are on the beat. In the bill.
Shouldn't you be at school then?
Got a cold.
Playing hooky more like. What do you do with yourself when you stop off all day?
Play.
Don't you get bored doing nothing?
No.
Would you rather be at school doing something?
No.
Have you seen these? Honestly, Howard, I think you must go looking for muck just to roll in it. I'll never get these clean.
It's only the good ones that's come off with mucky shorts, isn't it, kid?
Right.
Shame you knocked on with that last chance you got, mind.
Did you see us then?
Of course I did.
I never saw you.
I was hiding, wasn't I? In case I put you off.
Got 2 more through, didn't I? Left that 4-pack of theirs for Dedbury seconding.
You did all right. Play for Rochdale Hornets one day, perhaps.
Somebody better than them.
Big head.
Hey, come on, take your plate. We haven't got a butler.
I'm off out to play.
Right.
He played well. Got a good pair of hands.
You went down the job centre then?
Yeah.
What did they say this time?
Same as they said the last time.
Oh, I'm sure they'll find you something soon, Ted.
That's what worries me.
What else did you do?
Oh, I went down to the theatre, did a bit of work on the stage, played snooker. You know, Alan, I reckon I've missed my way there. If I'd spent a bit more time misspending my youth instead of joinering for 8 hours a day, I reckon I could have been good. I passed by the shop.
Oh, yeah?
He's had the place all tarted up.
Well, I suppose he'd have to now it's a pet shop.
Yeah.
Evening, lads. Hello, George.
Evening off, Mum.
I shall be at home if I'm needed, George. Good night.
Good night, Mum. Husband coming home?
Right, she's going to put her feet up and watch telly.
He's obviously not coming home then.
So she's earned a rest.
Likely she has.
Not everybody gets what they've earned, though, is it?
Yes, very good morning to you. It's the breakfast show. More music, till the news at the top of the hour.
Oh, turn that off, Howard.
Mum.
Have you cleaned your teeth?
Of course.
Right, get your jacket on then and off you go.
Bye, Mum.
Bye, love.
Your bike's got a puncture, Dad.
I'll see to it for you.
Thanks, Dad.
It cost you 10p, though.
I'll owe you.
Go on, up,
Hey, come on, you're going to be late. Bye, love.
Bye, Mum.
You don't mind me leaving you the dirty pots?
I'll see if I can fit them in.
Then what will you do?
I thought I might go down the shop.
Oh?
Poison all these parrots.
Bye, love.
Good morning to you, sir. Have I come to the right place?
Just a minute.
What was that?
I said just a minute. I'm trying to reckon up.
Could you speak up a bit, sir?
Can I help you?
I beg your pardon.
What do you want?
Oh, a budgie, sir. You sell budgies, do you?
We have been known to sell the odd budgie, yeah.
That's good, sir, because that's what I'm after. A budgie. Will I come in with you, sir, to show you which one I want?
Just stop there and point it out to me. Now then, which one? Well, get a move on, will you? I've not got all day.
I beg your pardon, sir. Will you just speak up a bit, sir?
Hurry up! Which one?
Right, sir. That one, sir, up there.
The blue one?
That's the one, sir. That's the one for me, so it is. You nearly had him there, sir.
you old thief! Stop thief! Stop thief! Stop thief!
Was very much taken.
About £50, Mum.
Anything to go on, Prince?
Yes, ma'am, on the padlock and on the till, I understand. No ident, though. They don't match anything in records.
How old did the shopkeeper say he was?
In his mid-60s, at least.
He must have led a charmed life then to have got to that age without collecting any form.
Unless he's a late vacation, ma'am.
Did anybody else see him?
Yes, Mum, a passerby. The one who let Mr. Morley out of the birdcage. Said he rode up on a bike.
Well, that tells us something, I suppose. Most likely a local man, somebody who lives within cycling distance of the town centre.
Right.
Well, that's all we need, a geriatric Irish tealy. Right, Joseph. Get the lads to circulate the town centre shops with a description. I'm off to lunch. See you later.
Right, ma'am. Something amusing you, Sims?
Me, Sarge? No, not a thing.
How was your day, then?
Oh, full of drama. Johnny Cox didn't quite make it to the loo in time, again. Oh, and little Rachel Linley was sick in her rod box. Charming. I must have been mad volunteering to take the reception class.
Go on, you love it.
What did you do today?
Oh, I had a marvellous day. Great.
Doing what?
Not a lot.
You never mended my puncher.
I'll do it now. I'll do it now. Come on.
Guess who?
Oh, hello, Rob. Come in.
Thanks. Is Teddy in?
He's out at the back being a father.
How is he? I mean, really.
Oh, as well as can be expected, I suppose. Sit down.
He seems cheerful enough down at the theatre. Full of beans.
Oh, he is. That's what's so frightening. Underneath, though, he feels a right mug. And he reckons that's what everybody else thinks he's been as well.
A mug?
A mug for accepting early redundancy when he'd nothing better lined up. And an even bigger mug for putting his redundancy money into a business that didn't work and losing it all.
Small businesses have been folding all over the shop, love.
That's no consolation, Rob. We even lost out over that.
How do you mean?
Well, that bloke Morley who took over the lease and turned it into a pet shop. He knew we were desperate to get rid. He got it for a song.
Well, according to tonight's paper, somebody walked in there today and made a right mug of him.
Oh?
Locked him in his bird cage and cleaned out the till.
Well, I wish I could say I was sorry, but I can't. He certainly cleaned us.
Talking about me, are you?
You know what Oscar Wilde said, Ted?
No, what was that?
There's only one thing worse than being talked about, and that's not being talked about.
Not exactly my dab, Oscar Wilde.
Would you like a coffee?
No, thanks, I have to dash. I just called to ask Ted if we'd be able to rehearse on stage tonight.
Of course you can. Mind you, I can't guarantee you'll have a set ready for the first night if you do.
We really do need it, Ted. We're badly under-rehearsed.
Well, you're the producer. I'm just the stage manager. Of course, you can always play in front of the drapes.
Thanks, Ted. See you down there later on, then, right?
Bye, Rob.
Bye-bye.
Come on then, Dad. I've got the tire off for you.
I should hope so, too. A technician of my calibre can hardly be expected to do his own labouring. Listen, you're lucky to get me. I normally only do the big jobs.
Well, I told her. I said, look here, Irene. If you're going to let a girl of that age go to them all-night soul sessions, who do you think she's going to be bringing home? Prince Andrew?
Hey, excuse me, ladies. I've come about the central heating.
What central heating?
I understand you're having problems with the central heating in the dining hall.
It's first I've heard about it, if we have.
And you're an expert, are you, lady?
All I'm saying is I've heard nothing about it. Have either of you heard anything?
No.
See yourself. I've had this job on our books as urgent for the past 2 weeks, but if you're telling me it's all right now, it's no skin off my nose. I'll away.
Hey, wait a minute. I mean, we're only the dinner ladies. We don't know. I mean, if you've been told to come, well, you best have a look at it anyway.
Thanks. Where's the boiler room, do you know?
Through that door there and downstairs.
Thanks. I wouldn't say no to a cup of tea if there's one going.
Cheeky monkey.
Hey, will the three of yous come down for a minute? And will you each of yous bring a big spoon with you? Good. Now, I think I've probably cracked it for you. Only there's something I have to check. Now, here's what I want you to do for me. You see this pipe here?
Yes.
And these two pipes over here?
Yes.
Well, I want you to each take a spoon. And when I give you the word, I want you to start tapping. Now, do you understand that?
You want us to tap on the pipe?
That's right. Would you like to try it? Can you do it a bit louder than that? Well, would the two of you do the same thing on these two pipes over here? While I check the thermoculator on the hydrometer. That's fine. Now just keep going. Shall I tell you to stop?
We're all right here.
Bring your ladies tapping away on this pipe. Well,
What is this, a laughing?
Just checking the message pad, Sarge.
Of course you were. Come on. Come on. What's the joke, anyway?
Melody Spoon, Sarge. The school dinners yesterday.
You found that funny, did you?
Gotta admit, it was a bit.
How much was it he took from the purses? 10 quid, 15?
Something like that, aye.
I bet they weren't giggling. Those three old dears.
No, Sarge.
Thermoculator in the hydrometer.
Well?
What's the joke?
Oh, it's nothing, Mum.
You mean it wasn't fit for my delicate ears?
No, nothing like that. We were just having a bit of a laugh about that job down at the junior school yesterday.
Can't say I found it particularly hilarious. 3 elderly women having their bags rifled and made fools of.
It's just what I've been saying myself, ma'am, to the lads.
You have anything to go on?
Well, scenes of crime turned up some prints, apparently.
And?
Well, that's the weird bit. The only ones they match are the set we collected the other day from the pet stores.
What?
There's no doubt about it. They're definitely made by the same man.
But I thought this one was Scottish. And in his 40s.
That's right. And all three dinner ladies confirm that.
I reckon we've got a bit of an actor on our hands, ma'am.
Yeah. I think we do, Joseph.
I'm not intruding, am I? No, it's just that I was on my way home myself and, well, I thought I'd drop in and see if you're all right.
It's very kind of you.
Well, are you? All right?
Shouldn't I be?
It's just that you've seemed a touch depressed recently.
Would you like a cup of coffee? I was just making some.
Sure.
How's Tom getting on with his course?
Oh, fine. He's enjoying every minute of it.
Which is more than you are, right?
Won't last forever.
How are you getting on with this Dick Emery character?
He's beginning to get through to me.
He's certainly a cocky devil, whoever he is.
And nasty with it. I mean, he's not just satisfied to rob you, he's to make a fool of you while he's at it.
Yeah, someone with a great big chip on his shoulder, I'd say.
Oh, I think you're right. And the really maddening thing is we can't even issue a description.
You've got nothing to go on yet?
Well, no, not really. Except... well, something Joe Beck said.
What was that?
About him being a bit of an actor. I'm sure that's not the way he meant it. But, well, maybe that's what he is, an actor.
What, a professional actor? You mean someone who's out of work and got fed up of waiting for that phone to ring and decided that there were easier ways of making a living?
Yeah. Well, I mean, none of the people he's robbed so far had any idea he was anything but what he was pretending to be. Which makes him not only pretty good at accents, but also very proficient with makeup. It's one thing to fool someone at stage range, it's quite another thing in broad daylight.
Well, that's a point, I suppose. It certainly cuts down the field a bit. I mean, there can't be all that many disgruntled old pros living within cycling distance of Hartley town centre.
No. I know. Morning.
Morning.
Quiet night?
Couple of drunks, that was all, seemingly.
Lucky George.
Some folks seem to have it all, ma'am, yes.
How are you on thespians, Joseph?
Pardon?
Actors, theatricals. Do you know any locally?
Only a couple who play football.
Very helpful.
I haven't given it much thought, really. There's always Mr. Gore, of course.
Ronnie Gore?
The JP. He's chairman, isn't he, of the local amateurs?
That's right, so he is. Worth a word, perhaps. Thank you, Joseph.
Try to be helpful, ma'am. Martin, better get the inspector on.
All right, Sarge. Sorry, I didn't realise she was in.
It's early start this morning.
Checking up, is she?
Checking up?
Well, keeping us all on our toes, like.
No, that's not her style, son. She trusts her people. Besides, it's my job to keep people on the toes. So, on your toes and get her a tea, eh?
Right, Sarge.
She'd need to be a sight earlier than this, anyhow.
Yes. I wouldn't have phoned so early, but I thought Mr. Gore was probably sitting this morning. I was hoping to catch him before he left. Can you tell me when he'll be back? Tonight? Oh, that late? The theatre first? Yeah, just the place.
Will you be late?
Oh, I suppose that depends upon our beloved producer, love. He has been known to keep everybody till dawn if he's not happy with it.
Mum, can I go roller skating?
No, you can't. I can't afford
Oh,
it.
Mum, it's only £150.
Only 150.
Please, Mum, all others are going.
I've told you, love, I can't afford it.
Dear. And I want some change, mind.
Right, Dad, thanks.
What's the matter?
Where did that come from?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. I had a Yankee up today.
A Yankee?
Yeah, it's a bet. A sort of accumulator.
On the horses, you mean?
Yeah, that's right.
You always said backing horses with a mugs game.
Oh, well, I've found me true vocation, haven't I? Do you want some?
No, thanks.
Right, well, I'll see you later.
'Tis no matter. Honour pricks me on. Yeah. But what if honour were to prick me off when I come on? How then? Can honour set to a leg? No. Or an arm? No. Or take bloody hell, Rob!
All right, Roger, love, hold it there. Teddy! Teddy!
Did you speak?
Do you think we can leave that until we get through this final bit?
Of course we can. I can finish it tomorrow for you if you like, when the audience...
Inspector Darbley, I presume.
Hello, Ronnie.
Let's go and find the bar, shall we, Jean? Rather less fur and feathers flying.
Right.
Well, 'tis no matter.
Problems?
Par for the course at dress rehearsal. Be all right on the night, I hope. What are you having to drink?
I won't, thanks. I'm driving.
Well then, what can I do for you, Jean?
Well, it's a bit of a shot in the dark, really. We've had a couple of thefts in the town centre this last week. Both jobs were the work of the same man.
Oh, yeah.
His trademark seems to be that he goes in for makeup and pretty authentic disguise.
Oh, yes. I read something about that in the local rag. What was it they nicknamed him?
Dick Emery.
That's right. So how can I help?
Well, one of the theories we had was that he might be some sort of theatrical. Both disguises he's used have been very convincing. Pretty professional, in fact.
Oh, yeah.
If there was someone like that living in Hartley, someone who'd been in the business, perhaps, presumably you'd know him if anyone would.
Possibly, not necessarily.
No?
Oh, no. In fact, there's no real guarantee at all that he'd gravitate towards us.
Well, you are the only theatre in town.
That's not the point, you see. Pros and amateurs don't generally mix. Fire and water, in fact.
Why?
My private theory is that most pros were amateurs themselves once and would prefer to forget the fact, and most amateurs think they're at least as good as pros, but nobody seems to realise it.
I see. Well, if anything does occur to you.
I'll give you a ring, of course. All sorted out then, is it, Teddy? World War III?
We've come to a very amicable arrangement. He's carrying on with his rehearsals, and I'm going to leave him to build his own bloody set when he's finished.
Don't be like that.
Well, what, Ron? I tell you, I've had it. These actors down here, they reckon the sets build themselves. Grow up out of the floorboards overnight while they're in their little beds.
Have a pint. Drown your sorrows. Pint, please, Charlie. Oh, Inspector Darbley, Ted Grimshaw. The best stage manager in the business.
Flattery, Mr. Chairman, will get you nowhere. Hello?
Hello.
What's up? Somebody been nicking the takings again, have they?
Something like that.
Look, sure you won't have a drink?
Positive, thanks. In fact, I must be going. Now, you will let me know if you have any thoughts, Ronnie.
Of course.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Do you know your way out?
Oh, yes.
Bye.
What was all that about, then?
Will you have time to go to the supermarket for me?
Yeah.
Thanks. I'll leave you a tenner, all right?
Fine.
Honestly, I don't know how some people manage at all. Every time I go in that place, everything's gone up. I think they just think of a number and double it. Keep telling us rate of inflation's coming down. All I can say is, if it is, nobody's told them about it yet. Bye, love.
Ta.
Oh, did you see Ronnie Gore down at the theatre last night?
Yeah, we had a drink.
Did he say anything?
Only the same as he told you. That he'd ask around at work and see if there's anything going. I told him there's no need to worry. No need to go breaking a leg over it.
Oh, you're bored out your mind, admit it.
Don't you believe it, love? Ever since I retired, I'm beginning to wonder how I ever found time to work.
Try and bring me some change out of that, eh?
and gentlemen, this is the manager speaking. If I could just have your attention for a moment. There is no cause for alarm, but we have reason to suspect that a bomb may have been planted in the store. We repeat, there is no cause for alarm. But if anyone in the building would kindly make their way towards the nearest exit as quickly and as calmly as possible.
"5'9" or 10 in his early 50s with grey hair and a little moustache. And this is all the security guard could tell us.
Yes, ma'am. Except that this character didn't look 50, the way he took off across the car park. He moved more like Sebastian Coe, apparently.
All right, Peter, thank you.
Ma'am.
It's our boy, all right, Mum. Prints on the trolley and on the phone he used, and both sets match the ones we've already got.
How's the old lady?
No, not good, I'm afraid. Apparently she's got a dicky heart. It's touch and go, I think.
Is there a car going to forensic this morning?
What's the idea going?
Put a report in with this, George, will you, and get it over to them? See what they can come up with.
Right, Mum.
Ted? Ted? Oh, Ted, are you all right?
Of course. Why?
Oh, they said on the radio there'd been a bomb scare down at the supermarket.
Oh, there was. And I was in there at the time.
Oh, what happened?
Oh, some joker rang up and said that a bomb was due to go off at any minute.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was hilarious, actually. This is your friendly neighbourhood manager speaking. Now, there's no cause for alarm, but we've just been told that a bomb's been planted right in the middle of the fruit and veg.
It's not funny, Ted.
How do you know you weren't there?
I don't have to have been there. You have to be sick in the head to pull a trick like that with a supermarket full of people.
Do you reckon?
Oh, don't you?
I don't know. Makes a change from raising their prices all the time. Raising the alarm.
Any news from the hospital this morning, Joseph?
The old lady's still under sedation, Mum.
Let me know, if there's any change. Oh, and a cup of tea would be welcome. Oh, thank you, Joseph.
Mr. Mason's here, Mum, from forensic.
Good, send him in, will you? Hello, Harry.
Hello, Jean.
That was quick.
Well, I had a clear afternoon. And I'm due in court this morning, so I thought I might as well drop it off.
Cup of tea?
Ooh, no, I won't, thanks. I'm running late already.
Well.
Worn by a horse, was it?
Pardon?
There are traces of horsehair in the crown.
Which means?
Whoever wore it was obviously wearing a wig.
That would fit in with what we know, yes.
Also makeup.
Theatrical makeup?
Well, probably. In fact, I'd say it's been exposed to various sorts of makeup over quite a period. The inside's ingrained with it.
Anything else?
No, I'm sorry. I'm afraid that's your lot.
Thank you for being so prompt.
All part of the service. Full report will follow in due course. See you.
Yes, thanks, Harry. Bye-bye. Hartley Little Theatre. Do you have any seats left for tonight? I just want the one.
Thank
you, Danny. Have one yourself.
Hello, Jean.
Morning.
Been to see the show?
Yes.
What do you think of it?
I enjoyed it very much.
Good.
Did you think I was here on business?
Always the first thought that occurs. I wonder why that is.
Well, actually, there was something I was hoping to have a word with you about.
Ah.
You do have your own wardrobe here. I mean, you don't simply hire costumes.
Good Lord, no. Couldn't possibly afford it. Actually, we have a pretty extensive one.
Who would have access to that?
Pretty well every member of the theatre. Why?
I'd like to show you something.
It's a long time since I've seen one of those. The old Robin Hood.
Is there any chance it could have come from your wardrobe?
Might have. Leave it with me. I'll show it to our wardrobe people.
Thank you.
See Emery again?
We think he was responsible for that business down at the supermarket, actually.
Oh, that, yes. That must have been terrible. Ted told me when somebody pressed the alarm, all hell broke loose.
Ted?
Ted Grimshaw, our stage manager. You met him the other night.
Oh, yeah.
He was there when it happened, you know.
Was he?
That reminds me. I've got some good news for that young man.
You told Ronnie you weren't interested in the job.
That's right.
But why, for God's sake?
Oh, come on, Ellen. Walking around with a clipboard, checking stores for the rest of me life. Look, I am a tradesman. I have a trade.
One there's not a lot of call for, Ted, just at present.
Thanks a lot.
Oh, look, Ted, in a few months, a year perhaps, things might be different. And in the meantime, well, it's a job, isn't it? It's at least better than being stuck at home all day.
Do you reckon?
Oh, don't you?
You know, the funny thing about being stuck at home all day, retired before your time. So it's going to happen to a lot of people, I think, unless things change. But you do get used to it. You adjust.
I don't believe that.
Oh, but you do, love, you do. You find things to do, things you like doing, things you get a real bang out of.
You mean like playing snooker all afternoon? Thinking you could have been Hurricane Higgins? You used to despise people who did that, Ted.
That's right, I did. And much bloody good it did me, didn't it, Ellen?
Partly 2595. Oh, hello, George. That's all right, I've just got in.
You have to be kept informed about Mrs. May there, the old lady from the supermarket. She just died.
I see. Right. Leave a message in the CID room, will you, George? I shall want to see Sergeant Reeves as soon as he gets in tomorrow.
Will do, Mum.
Good night, George. Well,
Well, it looks like it might well be one of ours. We did buy in a set of them for a musical some years back, and it does look as if one of them's gone missing.
I see. Your stage manager, Ted Grimshaw.
Oh, yes.
How long have you known him?
20 years, must be.
What's he like?
Good lad. Well, he can be prickly, of course. Well, you saw that the other night.
Yes.
Basically, though, I don't know what we do without him down there. A bit worried about him at present, mind.
Oh?
Well, he's out of work. The firm he worked for was in trouble, and Ted accepted early redundancy and opened a shop with the money. He couldn't have picked a worse time. Lost the lot.
I see.
I promised Helen, that's his wife, I'd see if I could find him something at our place. I did. He turned me down flat. I couldn't believe it.
Does he act at all? I mean, down at your theatre?
He has a rich contempt for actors, as old Teddy, like all the good stage managers. I bet you he could, mind you. He's a wickedly good mimic.
Do you have an address for him?
Could I speak to the ward sister, please? I believe you have a Mrs. Mather in there. She collapsed in Hartley supermarket the other day. Could you tell me how she is, please? I'm her nephew. I'm speaking from London. What?
right. Thanks.
Hello.
Hello?
We met at the theatre the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Can I come in?
Yes, of course. Oh, I give hand with the makeup down there. If I didn't, half of them would go on stage with leg tan on their faces. Well, what can I do for you, Inspector?
Hartley Supermarket. I understand you were down there when they had the bomb hoax the other day.
Yes, that's right.
Somebody tried to steal a few groceries. Apparently that's what it was all about.
So I heard.
It's hard to believe, isn't it, that somebody could do something so irresponsible for the sake of a few groceries.
Sign of the times, eh?
Oh, nobody's that desperate these days, surely.
Somebody obviously was.
One old lady was so frightened she collapsed, you know.
Yes, I read about that.
She died last night in Hartley Hospital.
Oh, that's terrible.
Isn't it? I wonder if he'll sleep tonight when he finds that out. Whoever he is. Or will he even care?
What's all this got to do with me, Inspector?
You were there. Apparently someone set off the fire alarm as part of the same exercise, presumably. I simply wondered if you'd noticed anything.
As soon as I heard the alarm, all I wanted was out, quick.
Just like the old lady, I suppose.
Right.
Only her heart wasn't up to it.
Excuse me, I'll just turn the kettle off.
Well, I'm sorry to have bothered you.
I'm sorry I can't be more helpful. So you're struggling a bit, are you?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say we were struggling. No, we are making some progress.
All right.
Well, the hat he dropped has helped a lot, of course.
The hat?
Yes, the one he dropped whilst he was running away. It's amazing what can be gleaned from a thing like that these days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we know, for instance, that it came from your theatre.
Our theatre? Well, what does that make him? One of our members, then?
Oh, it's a bit early to be that definite just yet, I think. Well, I'm sorry to have bothered you. I must be off. Bye-bye.
Oh, Inspector.
Oh, thanks.
And the prints definitely match.
I've had a perfect set on there. They match all right.
It's good work. Right.
Could I speak to Mr. Gore, please? Ted Grimshaw. Hello, Ron, it's Ted. Look, about that job. Is it still going? Hang on a minute.
Mr. Edward Grimshaw.
Yes, that's right.
I wonder if we might have a word. My name is Logan, Detective Chief Inspector, and this is Detective Sergeant Reeves.
Yes, of course. Come in. Ronnie, something's just come up. I'll call you back, right?
Dad! I've been picked for the cold! Oh, sorry.
What do you think you'll get, Sarge? Grimshaw, I mean.
Hard to say.
I shall be back in an hour, Joseph.
Right, Mum. Mum, why has Grimshaw been bailed?
Simple theft, Peter.
But why hasn't he been charged with murder?
It falls into that murky area called causation. She did have a weak heart, which could have gone at any time.
He can also claim that he had no malicious intentions towards her. He merely did it to steal food. At the same time, there's no doubt in my mind that he caused her death just as surely as if he'd stabbed her.
It's a terrible thing, man, boredom. Getting up every morning, feeling the day stretching away in front of you like some empty road, knowing that tomorrow's going to be just the same, and tomorrow.
Sound as though you're speaking from experience, Joseph.
I have been unemployed, ma'am, yes.
Was this before or after you joined the force?
Before, as far as I remember. Wipe that smirk off your face, Sims. If you haven't out to do, I can soon find you something.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the bill.
This is Blueberry Hank the Gunslinger. Do you read me on the ether, fella? 10-10, let's do it again.
I copy you, Blueberry Hank. What's the bus for?
Just Chelsea, my old cowboy. Sure is a mighty fine and dandy day up in these here hills. How's the smoking hardly moved?
Stuff off, Jabberjaws. I'm working.
That'll be the day.
I see one old smoky bear laying rubber and heading for the Addison Turnpike. You're gonna look at him spooky, kid.
Got your rifle, Chief?
Ain't your wagon? Got the documents? How long are you stopping, Mr. Tully?
We only just pulled in.
When are you pulling out?
It's free land.
County Highways Department, Mr. Tully, you know that.
Just a couple of days, Chief. We ain't hurting no one.
Who's travelling with you?
Just Addie and his missus.
Addie?
My brother Adolphus Tully.
Oh, yeah. And that's all, is it?
My uncle Ignatius and his lads is coming.
A family meeting?
Sort of a get-together.
Or a welcoming party? When's he expected?
Any day now.
I see. So, how many of you will there be, then?
Me and Addie, Ignatius, me cousins, about 7.
And wives and dogs and kids?
We ain't counting them.
That'll be too many, Mr. Tully. Uncle Ignatius will have to go somewhere else.
I'll tell him.
See that you do. All right, 2 days, no longer.
Thanks, Chief.
And remember, no problems.
Sure.
What's he want?
No trouble. Not for 2 days.
The camp by Red Tile Farm, Dick Poston's place. He's worried about his Buff Orpingtons.
All gypsies are thieves, is that it?
The prize birds, he says, ma'am.
You want me to station a man in the hen coop until they move on?
No.
Well, that's good. Because we do have some serious crime in the area. Gypsies have the same rights as anyone else, including the right to be considered innocent until found guilty, Joseph.
Oh, Sarge. Sorry, didn't know you were here.
Oh, that's okay, son. I'll have this one.
Right, I'll make another.
Remember Thomas Tully?
Tully? That rings a bell. Gypsy, wasn't he? Killed somebody.
Billy Driscoll.
That's it. In a prize fight. Bare knuckle job. Billy got a hammer in.
Tully got 5 for manslaughter.
I remember. And the Driscolls came down the stations.
Tully's coming out.
How do you know?
His brothers have come to meet him, and the rest of the tribe's on the way.
Well, that's how gypsies are. Clannish.
No, I think there's more to it than that. They could have got a lot nearer Strangeways than this patch. The camp by Red Tile Farm.
Oh, no, it near Atherton.
Ah, near the Driscoll's quarry and all.
Have you told Madam about this?
Not yet.
Why not?
She'll expect us to stop them, won't she?
Pig in the middle. Appropriate.
I reckon they deserve each other.
What? You mean let them get on with it and then pick up the bits afterwards? She'll not stand for that.
I know.
Unless you're more scared of them than you are of the lady, I think you got to tell her. We might get some help from division.
I wish I were going on my holidays. I fancy 2 weeks in Salonica.
Howdy, ma'am. Is the ramrod round the spread anywhere?
If you mean Wally's in the back.
Sure do. Got a bone to pick with that dude.
He's with a customer.
Oh, he's in the back, eh? Can't say out in that stuff myself.
A lot of folks seem to like it.
Waste of money. It's not even the real thing, is it? Just play acting.
So is pretending to be cowboys.
Yellow. Sexy.
Oh, Wally.
Hello, Ronnie. Listen, mate, about that Bernie you sold me.
I'm listening.
Blaming things useless.
You what? He's got a guarantee, the amplifier. Brand new.
I were on the top of Luffworth today. Furthest I got were a buddy on the M6. 10 miles from the top of the hill. I tell you, it's useless.
Yeah, well, it's your aerial. You want to fit a new twig?
What he needs is a new rig, never mind anything else.
Yeah, she's right there, son. Everybody's changing to FM now.
What about the gear I got?
Oh, it's out of date. Junk it. Chunky, you gotta be kidding. I paid hundreds for that lot.
Cost you a lot more if the law catches you. Do you have to have that on?
You what? Tell you what I'll do, well, I'll drive out to town and keep on calling back. See how far I get before the signal starts.
All right. Hey, look at that. 52 when he done that, old Doc Holliday. And he had stomach ulcers.
Inspector Darby to Hartley. Red Escort, unregistered. Here are the last three numbers. I couldn't see the rest. Get onto division and ask them to find out on the PNC if there are any local owners that might fit.
Right, Mum.
Serious crime, Mum?
An unlicensed sea beer interfering with police transmissions.
Not Blueberry Hank, by any chance?
Oh, you've heard him too.
Loud and clear, so have the ambulance service. I've reported to British Telecom. They've got some engineers trying to trace him.
Well, maybe we'll find him first. What's the Chinese angel, by the way?
A policewoman, I believe, ma'am.
Ah, thought so.
Also, I understand, sometimes known as a honey bear.
How many of them?
2 wagons.
You sure they're Tully's, Jim?
Yeah, I've seen them before. Tully's right enough.
Long Tom must be coming out.
Reckon so, Jack.
It's been a hard time waiting, Jim. It's 3 years and 8 months since he killed our Billy.
Got your chance now, Jack.
By God, I have. Tell the boys, Jim. Tell them the Tullys are here.
Did you hear that? Tully is being released in the morning.
I thought so.
Why didn't you tell me about this earlier, Joseph?
I wasn't sure, ma'am. Then one of the lads spotted 3 more vans parked by Dewsbury Woods.
And why do you feel that there's going to be trouble between these gypsies and the Driscolls?
Because they have their own rules. They like to settle things in their own way, and this hasn't been settled yet.
Tully's served his sentence, that should be it.
Oh, no, ma'am, not unless he's changed.
Was there bad blood between these two families before the fight?
I don't think so.
Then what were the two of them fighting about? They must have had some reason.
Well, they wanted to find out who was the better man. Billy fancied his chances, so he challenged Tully.
Oh, so it was a sporting contest.
I suppose that's how they'd see it. It's illegal, though.
And Billy Driscoll was killed?
Died next day, brain hemorrhage.
An accident, though? I mean, if it had been an ordinary boxing match, it would have been called an accident.
Yes.
Well, that brings me back to my point. What makes you think there'll be trouble when Tully comes out of prison? It's all over.
No, ma'am, not for them. The Driscolls say that Tully didn't fight fair, that he hit Billy when he was down. And from what I can gather, the gypsies think that it was the Driscolls that shot Tully.
I see. And did they?
Shot him? I don't know. But they think he did, and that's against their rules.
It might be, but it doesn't mean... You've no real evidence for any of this, have you, Joseph? What is it, just a funny feeling in your left elbow?
George Parrish thinks the same as me. It doesn't take 7 fellas to meet Tully out of prison.
No, that's true. All the same, it's not against the law. I mean, we can hardly invoke the Riot Act at this stage, you know.
I just thought I should tell you, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Joseph. I'm glad you did. Joseph?
Yes, ma'am.
Have Tully's file sent through, would you?
Thomas Tully, aged 45. 2 convictions in the 60s, Brighton and Hull, receiving stolen lead. One at Sheffield, 1970, grievous bodily harm. 2 appearances at Wetherby Magistrates, actual bodily harm dismissed, lack of evidence. And Preston Crown Court, 5 years for the manslaughter of William Driscoll.
Well, apart from the 2 Wetherby cases that were dismissed, he managed to keep out of trouble for 8 years.
Wetherby's where the gypsies meet for the horse fair.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, that's why the jobs weren't proved. They won't talk to the police.
So you don't align the benefit of the doubt?
There'll be 100 others no one's ever heard of. Tully's a bad one.
Yet this last case, this manslaughter, didn't you say that Billy Driscoll challenged him?
So we understand.
So it was just Tully's bad luck that Driscoll was killed. It wasn't intentional.
Suppose you could see it that way.
I'll tell you what I see. I see a load of stupid men spoiling for a fight. I'm not going to have it. It's time someone talked some sense into them. Now, George, you know the Driscolls, I believe.
We've had most of them in here one time or another.
Who'd you say was the ringleader?
Oh, Jack, Billy's dad. He runs the quarry and the family. Iron Jack, they used to call him.
Iron Jack?
In his fighting days, that was.
You mean that Billy's father also went in for this illegal prize fighting?
Before my time, of course, but he was quite famous. In his prime, they reckon he could beat any man in England.
Right. I shall talk to him.
You've grown, haven't you, eh? Hey, hello, sunshine. What's your name?
Sydney John.
Sydney John. Hey, up. You're looking smashing. Is it yours, kid? How you doing, eh? You're looking well, kid. Hello, Doc. Hey, what's your name?
Patty, is it? Hey there, Grand.
Hello, Tom.
Celine.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you, kid. Hey, come on. I'll see you later, yeah? See you, Tom. You've been busy, yeah?
When was this to?
A month ago. She asked me to show it.
She's grown.
Well, 16 now, Tom.
How is she, Pearl?
Oh, she's good as gold. She's happy with the family, too. Good girl as well, needlework, all that.
Oh, Jessie taught her that. She missed Jessie.
Well, she did. But she's got over it now. I mean, it's been a year since.
Hey. She's all right, isn't she?
Why did they let you come to the funeral, Tom?
With 2 screws.
But they should have let you come. Your own wife.
Produce of Jamaica, Guyana, and Barbados.
Hey?
I'll answer it inside.
Go on, hear that, Selena?
Yeah, you know, no newspapers and that. I read quite well now. I'll save our Pearl doing it for me.
Jessie was asking for you at the end, Tom. Weren't she, Goss?
Why don't you shut up? The writing's hard.
Yeah, I was never very good at the writing. Oh, Tom, here's to you, boy.
Cheers.
The Gypsy Champion. There's a few blokes been saying they can do you since you've been inside.
Oh, yeah, who?
Cassius Smith, for one.
I always was a blowout.
They'll change their fiddles once they know you're out. You're looking good, Tom.
No, they let you exercise.
How was it?
Well, I'll go back, Gus. I taught myself first.
I'm looking for Mr. Driscoll.
That's Mr. Driscoll.
Mr. Driscoll,
What's up, lass?
can I have a word?
If they must.
I'm Inspector Darbley, Hartley Police.
Are you wed, Inspector?
Yes, I am.
Better at home having bairns and that job.
Thank you for your advice, Mr. Driscoll. Now, shall we talk about the Tullys?
Not to talk about. Thieving idle trash.
The lad who died after challenging Tom Tully to a fight a few years back.
Oh, Billy.
What happened?
Tully tripped him and put the elbow in. He were giving the gypsy a right pasting till then.
How old was he, Mr. Driscoll?
20. Best a little were Billy.
And you encouraged him into this prize fighting?
Never needed encouraging. They were born in, lad.
Why didn't he join one of the local clubs? There are several good amateur boxing clubs round here.
Dancing boys. No, Billy were like me. Beat any man on cobbles.
Yes, I know. Bread on ale on black pudding.
Best state their business, Inspector.
When young men have fathers they admire, they often try to copy them. Has it occurred to you, Mr. Driscoll, that Billy might be alive today if you hadn't encouraged him? Just think about it, that's all. And remember, if there is trouble between your family and the gypsies, I shall hold you responsible. Good day.
You know, Tom, there's still nobody as good as you. I've seen some of them. Young lads. Rubbish.
I'm getting on, Gus.
You could do any of them. 3 rounds top whack.
I wanted to come to the funeral. They don't let me. I couldn't face coming out and then having to go back in the nick for another year. I couldn't do it.
Drink up, eh?
Told me so, Jessie'd understand it. Hey, she would have done, wouldn't she, Gus?
I'll tell you what I think. I think we owe the Driscolls a right rousting for what they did to you, boy.
Giving you 10-2, good buddy. What's your handle? Hello, Blueberry Hank. Not Big Fox trucking out of Bolton.
Not again.
Hey, last week I copied a buddy called Little Fox from Bolton. Oh, my brother. No kidding. It's going hard to read you, Blueberry Hank. Okay, Big Fox. Nice trip.
Inspector Darby Hartley.
Yes, ma'am. Sergeant Beck here.
I'm on my way to Red Tile Farm now, Sergeant. I'm going to have a word with the Tullys.
Inspector Darby out.
Ronald Phillips. Hey? Chap with the red escort. Index number Inspector Darby gave me. 16 No Mill Lane, Sarge.
Then get to him. Man's a menace. What are you waiting for?
I've been down to the house. There's no one there.
No, he's too busy driving around the county, jamming official transmissions.
Now, this is a killer bloke.
That's what I said. Didn't I say that, Gus?
Why don't you shut it?
Them Driscolls got heads like rocks, Tom. Or Billy's hadn't, had he?
Look, Tommy, we owed them, don't we? They put you away, didn't they, boy? All them years taken out of your life. I'll never get them back, you know.
I'm on parole.
So?
If anybody gets killed or head bad, I go straight back inside. And you. Well, all of us.
You lost your bottle, Tom.
I'm just saying we don't need them. If it's down to a scrap, well, I'll stick to these. Like I've always done.
Tom, they know we're here. They know why we're here. Them Driscolls are going to dance around waving their jukes, believe me.
They'll have knives, axes, God knows what.
Of course they will. Have to protect ourselves, son.
Hey, there's a copper.
It's a woman. She's coming over. Morning. Is Mr. Tully here? Mr. Thomas Tully?
What do you want?
Let her in.
Thank you. Which of you is...
I'm Tom Tully. These are my brothers.
I'd like a word with you, Mr. Tully. I'm Inspector Darbley.
Yeah. Well, go on.
Can we talk in private?
Go on, Jello.
Don't let her touch your chocolate drops, Tom.
I gather you came out of strange ways this morning, Mr. Tully.
Yeah.
You'll be anxious to get back to Epsom, no doubt.
Epsom.
That is your base, I believe. You have a business there.
I did have.
Let's put it this way, you have no business here. So we in the local police would like you to leave quietly without causing any trouble.
What would you think
Oh,
caused
come
any
on,
trouble?
Mr. Tully, we're not stupid. I've warned the Driscolls, and now I'm warning you.
Well, I'll leave Hartley when I'm ready to leave.
I think you should go today. That's my advice to you.
You'd say I was yellow.
If there's trouble, you'll go straight back into prison. You know that.
Look, Miss. You wouldn't understand. You're a woman.
I'm trying to.
Well, the last thing I want right now is more Nick. You'll never get me back in there.
They will if there's trouble. Any breach of the peace and you'll be back inside. That's why I'm advising you to leave.
I'm not running.
You're a foolish man, Mr. Tully.
Listen, miss. Judd Driscoll knows where to find me. They say he wants me. The way I see it, it's up to him.
They also say that you want him.
Did once, maybe. He could ask me.
You sure of that, are you?
Oh, yeah. He shot me. Went around telling everybody how he put me away. If I got out then, I'd have killed him.
And now?
I could take him or leave him. I understand better now.
Understand what?
What it's like to lose somebody.
How do you get on talking to the gypsies?
I'm not sure. I think I feel quite sorry for Tully, though.
How's that?
He's being forced into a position he can't back out of. He doesn't want to fight, but they all expect him.
What about Driscoll?
A bitter old man. He hasn't got much time for police women, either.
He hasn't much time for the police, full stop.
No. That's why it seems out of character for him to have turned informer, even though it was his son.
Always heard it was, Jack.
Yes, everyone's heard it. Did you know the fight was broken up?
Yes, ma'am. One of our patrols happened on it.
They didn't happen on it, Joseph. I've just been talking to headquarters. They received an anonymous tip-off. A woman.
I never heard the details, ma'am.
Tell me, Joseph, is there much money wagered at these fights?
Yeah, quite a bit, especially if it's gypsies. They're gambling mad.
So there'd be a bookie there, offering odds and so on?
Oh, there'd have to be. Otherwise, there'd be more blood spilt outside the ring than in it.
Thank you, Joseph. I shall be about an hour.
Ronald Phillips.
Yeah?
We have reason to believe you've been operating an unlicensed wireless transmitter from this vehicle.
Me? Are you kidding?
Contrary to the Wireless Telegraphy Act. Would you like to come with me, sir?
Where?
The Nick.
You had me staked out, didn't you?
I was after you. Aye.
Police persecution, that is. Amnesty International are about that.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Phillips?
You really want to know?
If you've no objection.
Gyro City.
Figures.
Well, not my fault, mate. I were a paint sprayer when there was something to spray.
Can we go now?
Look at that, coming out in handfuls. Just put me coat on.
Not necessary.
Well, I want to look nice.
Oh, don't tell me. You were voted second best dressed man, Morecambe Holiday Camp 1970.
I bet you have me in stitches down at the Nick, don't you?
Mr. Phillips, you look nice. Very nice. Let's go.
Can I go in my car?
Hey.
Well, I don't want to be seen driving through town with you, do I?
I tell you what, we can take the scenic route if you like.
No, we'll take your car.
Right, it's down the road. Mr. Phillips.
What?
Watch out. There's a thief about.
Huh?
Crime prevention.
Yes, Inspector.
Sergeant Norris?
Ex-Sergeant, ma'am. How can I help you? Not a bereavement, I trust.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, but how on earth did you get into this?
Undertaking. Years ago, when I was a young copper, I was on point duty. Remember it clearly. 3 funeral cortèges went past in as many minutes. Made an impression. I thought, well, death is something you can always rely on. A very steady business. So from that moment, I knew what I was going to do when I left the force.
You mean that for 20 years you've looked forward to being an undertaker?
Oh, I've looked forward to having my own business. It's going very well.
I'm glad to hear it.
Well, in the police, you meet a lot of useful contacts.
Yes, I suppose. Sergeant, Mr. Norris, my name's Jean Darbley and I'm in charge of the Hartley station.
Oh, I know it well. I was attached there once for a brief while.
Well, some 3 years ago, just over, you came into our ground. There was a bare-knuckle prize fight.
Oh, aye, the gypsies. Yes, I remember. It was just before I left the job.
What exactly happened that day? The records are rather skimpy and it might be important.
Well, I was on patrol with my driver, Dave Franklin, and we had this call on the radio. A fight at the back of some old mill.
Langley Mill.
That's right. We were the nearest car, I think. Anyway, we were the first there. Crowd vanished the minute they saw us.
Big crowd, was it?
Oh, for a field in the middle of nowhere. 200 or 300 people. They legged it the minute we came over the hill. Looked like a lot of ants. Or one of those Lowry pictures.
And did you not catch anyone?
No. I said to Dave we should try and bag the principals, the boxes. We got one, Driscoll, but you know about him. He was groggy and bleeding pretty badly. I know the cars were coming in by then, so I thought it best to get him to hospital. Died next day, poor lad.
Did you say anything when you picked him up?
Oh, no, not much that I remember. Something about settling a bet, something like that.
And they all ran, you said. Did they not have cars?
Oh, yes, there were cars all over the field. It was like a race meeting.
I see. And the other boxer, Tully, got away?
Oh, the CID picked him up the next day or the day after.
Did you not have to identify him or anything?
No, it wasn't necessary. He admitted it all straight off.
I see. Well, thank you.
Is that all?
Yes. I just wanted to get the complete picture. I won't keep it from your customers.
Oh, they're very patient.
What the hell's going on?
Just practicing, Jack.
You mad beggar. If you can't fight like a man, I don't need you.
Without me, there'll only be 5 of you. Think on that, Jack.
We'll not be needing ruddy bombs. Now get that jelly back in store and bring me key.
Yes. Fight like a man. What a stupid old Wally.
Ronald Phillips, ma'am, alias Blueberry Hank.
Thank you, Constable. Sit down.
glass stand.
As you wish. It's not an offence for which you can be arrested, you know.
What then?
Operating an unlicensed radio transmitter.
So, I'm not under arrest.
However, it is an indictable offence, punishable by a fine of up to £400 and 3 months in prison for each occasion it can be proved that you operated the equipment.
Aye. But you've got to prove it, ain't you?
I think we can prove at least 4 occasions. That's £1,600 and a year in prison, Mr. Phillips.
Ruddy Nora.
It depends how British Telecom view the offence. We take it seriously, because in the last few days you have interfered not only with our own transmissions, but also with those of the ambulance and fire services. This could easily have caused loss of life. Am I making you feel better, Mr. Phillips?
I've been breaking for years. I've never had any trouble before. With that burner I got off Wally Gator.
Burner?
Amplifier. I said it was no good, but he wouldn't take it back.
How many years have you been using this equipment?
I'm not saying out. I want a mouthpiece.
No, don't worry. This is off the record.
"5 years. I was the first bloke to get rigged up round these parts. That's how I knew about the amplifier.
Did Wally Cater not have one before you?
Oh, Wally, no. A year before he got a rig. In fact, I helped him fit his gear.
Was this when he was still running the pub?
Yeah, about 4 years ago.
I see. Well, that's all. Thank you for being so frank, Mr. Phillips.
In and go.
You'll be notified if British Telecom decide to prosecute, and you'll want to surrender your equipment in the meantime, I expect.
Will I?
They might view it more sympathetically if they knew you'd done it voluntarily.
George.
Hello.
I'm holding 4 lads over from the late shift and I'm staying on myself.
You think it'll be tonight?
Yeah, it's got to be. Driscoll's are still at the quarry, but there's no work going on.
Oh, we've got someone out there then.
Sandy's been out there since 3. Must be sick of that road being out.
Wally Cater used to run the Wagtail.
Yes, Mum?
I seem to remember we did him for allowing betting on the premises.
Yeah, and for allowing drinking after hours, and for showing blue films in his back room. He lost his licence.
He runs an electrical shop in Kendall Street now. Still got a mucky back room, they say.
It's the betting I'm interested in. How do you fancy him as a bookie, Joseph?
I'm not quite with you, ma'am.
At the fight, you said there'd be a bookie there, taking bets.
Yeah, it could be. Well, it could well be. I know he used to take the bets on cockfights round here till we made things too hot for him.
Oh, Wally was into anything like that.
I'll be my partner.
I'll go. It could be someone sensible. Someone to see you, Wally.
Oh. Hi there, Sheriff.
He's playing cowboys tonight.
The old Six-Gun Society's having a shootout tonight in Bolton.
I see. Well, then I hope this won't take too long, Mr. Cater. Do you remember a fight at Langley Mill between Billy Driscoll and a gypsy named Tully?
I heard tell about it.
I think you were there, Mr. Cater. I think you were taking bets that day.
Can't really remember. A long, long time ago.
Don't play games, Mr. Cater. I can easily find out, but I'm trying to save time. You were taking bets, weren't you?
What if it was? Am I being done?
No, you're not being done. Just answer the question, please.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I ran the book.
How much money was laid?
4 grand. Why do you want to know? You write history.
And most of that money was on Tully, wasn't it?
Not at first. All the local lads were back in Driscoll. Well, he was fancy, wasn't he? I had him at 2 to 1 on. None of us had ever seen Tully.
Then what happened?
There was no way that Driscoll was going to take that gorilla.
I see. So you went to your car, to your CB radio, and you called your wife at the pub. He asked you to ring the police and get the fight stopped. Isn't that right?
Yes. He said if the fight was stopped, the bets would be called off.
Did it clean me out? I'd have been skinned.
It's a pity you didn't manage to get the fight stopped a bit earlier, before Billy got hurt.
How is he?
Gus, I tell you, he's lost his ball. All that bull about what he were going to do when he come out. Driscoll's will be laughing. Hello.
I wonder what she wants.
Evening. Is your brother in?
I think she fancies him.
So it doesn't matter. Jack Driscoll grassed me.
I don't think he did. In fact, I know he didn't.
He told everybody he did.
Of course. Can't you see why? He's up in that quarry waiting for you, hoping you'll come. That's what he wants.
The fight?
It's his conscience. He caused Billy's death.
No, I don't know.
I don't think he wants revenge. It's some kind of penance. They can only achieve it this way. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think so. If it wasn't Jack Driscoll who grassed me,
Does it matter? Mr. Tully, there were over 200 people there that day. How long do you think it would have taken CID to have found out who Billy was fighting?
If they're not here by sundown, we'll go up there.
Hey, Jack.
I'll be damned. Stay back.
Not on your own.
If that's the way he wants it.
I've come to tell you, you're pulling out.
You gutless cow son, Tully. You brought protection, I see.
Some protection, eh? 7 stone hanging wet.
I want to kill you.
Oh, no.
You yellow, stinking gypsy.
I'm sorry about you, boy. I'll not fight again.
Tully! You should. You're good at game.
Never as good as you, Jack!
Never as good as you.
Sorry, Billy boy. Sorry.
Well, how does he get 2 hours out of that?
Travelling there, travelling back.
Excuse me, Mom. I've just seen the gypsies leave. They gave me this for you.
For me?
Buff or Bintons, would you say, ma'am?
It's difficult to tell, isn't it?
Would you like me to dispose of them for you?
No, Joseph. Put them in my office, please.
Ma'am?
I never look a gift hen in the mouth.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the bill.
I don't know whether you have cabarets, you cornflips and whatnots and Myers and Manglesteins and Banglesteins in Scotland or in Jordanland or in America. But we're providing in the second half of the programme a kind of cabaret for you because we have a Yorkshireman with us. Now, a lot of good things come out of Yorkshire, as you know, and a lot of good things come out of horses. Ladies and gentlemen, Harvey Smith.
Hello, love.
Hey, fit then?
Well, I can't, love. They're still...
Are they not back yet?
No. They won't be long anyway.
I hope not. I got Pam to come round while I came for you. I told her it'd only be 10 minutes.
Well, she won't mind. She's good like that, is Pam.
Not the point, is it?
He's been on before.
Who?
What's his name?
We all have. Why does it have to be you?
Oh, I don't mind. She needs all the help she can get, doesn't she?
Ought to try helping herself a bit more.
3 little uns, love.
Oh, daft enough. I've had 2 since he's been out of work.
That's none of our business.
It's none of our mess.
She is my sister, Ted. You wouldn't say that if she were yours.
Wouldn't mind so much if that Tony lifted a finger occasionally. I think so. Yes, well, you know very well what I think.
Well, you don't mean it.
Better off we are.
Oh, with 3 kiddies?
I don't know.
I wouldn't wish that on anyone, let alone my own sister. I mean, let's be fair, they've not had a right lot of luck, have they? Not right from the word go.
Hmm. Not before time.
Pat?
Hello, love.
Hello, Sandra.
Hello, Ted. Oh, I didn't know you. Sorry, have you been waiting?
Oh, we have.
Sorry.
Half an hour, your Tony said.
Yeah, well, I didn't know you were coming for me.
Have you had a nice time, then?
Hmm?
Well, young wives and mothers or whatever it was.
Yeah. Well, we're all right, you know.
Well, we haven't had any trouble. Not been as sound as the Ted.
Ah.
Oh, good. Well, thanks.
Where is he?
What?
Tony.
Oh, he just had to... I don't think he'd be long.
Well, did he not bring it home?
Yeah, but he had to go on somewhere.
Late drinking on somewhere tonight, is there?
I don't know. Anyhow.
All right. Come on, love. Pam will be wondering.
Are you all right, Sam?
What?
Is everything all right?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Look, I'm all right. I'm sorry you've been kept waiting, but there's no need for you to stay, you know, not now.
Come on, love.
Have you had a row with him? Is that it?
No.
Bye.
Look, he'll be back any minute. I'd just rather you weren't here, that's all.
Fair enough.
I'll talk to you in a week sometime, all right?
All right, love.
Now then.
Thanks for coming.
Any time, you know that.
See ya.
Something of the matter, it were obvious.
If she doesn't want to tell us, it's none of us business. It's like what you said.
Is he here yet?
No, ma'am. Palmer's bringing him in now.
Who's he having a go at this time?
Same as usual. Old lady, just been to pick up a pension.
As soon as they get in.
Hello, love.
It's not that bad.
Oh, Sam. I wondered why you hadn't been round. Now I know.
You were an accident.
Oh, come on, love.
You were drunk. I'm trying to stop him smashing the place up.
Well, why? What's got into him? What's going on, Sam? Tell me.
He's been done again. And I was going to tell you that night, only I couldn't, not with Ted here.
What do you mean, done?
Arrested. When you come to fetch me that night. He got himself arrested.
Breathalyzed?
Oh, I wish it were. No, he laid into this bloke, beat him up.
Dear God, no.
Pat, I'm right scared.
What's going to happen?
What is your Ted going to say? Palmer with him.
Yes, ma'am. Another good colour, this?
You're doing well. Mr. One Constable?
Yes, ma'am.
Back again, is he?
Yes, ma'am.
So why did Tony do it? Well, did he know this fella?
No.
Did you?
Not really.
What does that mean?
Means I've seen him around, but not to know his name or out like that.
So what made Tony do it?
Pat, I don't really want to talk about it.
Well, you must know.
It upsets me.
Yes, San, it's not... I mean, you and this fella, you've not been...
Oh, charming.
Well, there has to be a reason.
Oh, and it has to be me, doesn't it? It has to be my fault.
No, but...
Look, I told you I don't even know his damn name.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, what's it matter?
Ted's going to want to know.
Why? What good will it do? He can't help us this time.
Keep on like this, Ted, we'll have to see about getting you an horse. It's Mounties who always get the man, innit?
That's what you call being stubborn, Sarge. I'm good at that.
We've noticed.
Sit out.
Go down, all right?
Eventually. Well, Sam started reading stories to me, isn't he?
Our Kevin's not doing too bad. He's on level 5, book 4.
Very good.
I went round to see our Sandra today.
Well, there weren't no sign of that Tony.
They're in trouble, Ted. Tony's got himself in bother again.
What kind of bother?
With the police. Oh, not here, love. Over at Ilden. He's been charged with assault.
Stupid bug. There's nothing I've said to him sunk in.
That's why she was so scared of telling me.
Well, that's it then, isn't it?
Don't say that, love.
Got a year's suspended sentence hanging over him. Get done for this, he'll have to serve the lot.
Could you not?
What?
Well, something.
What? Oh, stuff.
But if he goes inside, what's going to happen to Sandra and the kiddies?
Same as what happens to any other bloke's family when he goes inside.
She'll lose them, Ted. She'll have them taken off her.
I should have thought about that, shouldn't he?
Well, we can't just wash his hands, love.
There's nought I can do. She's made her bed part, they both have.
At least go round and see them. Please, Ted, for my sake.
When I married you, I don't remember agreeing to take on responsibility for your entire family.
You've been very good, love, I know. I know, I'm sorry.
When would I catch him in? Or does that make out he's never there?
She said she'd make sure he were there tomorrow tea time.
It's Ted! Spare me the lecture, OK.
Don't do no good anyway. Taught myself blue in the face, you still managed to get yourself back in bother.
Aye. Well, you going to sit down or what?
Do we have to have the competition?
Teething.
I'm only here because Pat asked me. If it were just you could go to hell. Even so, I don't see there's much I can do. This fella you laid into, do you know his name? You do admit it, were you?
There were a copper just come out the pub, so it happened, didn't it?
That's what I heard. I rang Hilda and Nick. They told me. They also told me the fella you had a go at's called Bob Ramsden. Now, that name may not mean much to you, but it just so happens he's not only a county councillor, but also a member of our local police authority. Don't half pick him, don't you?
I don't care who he is. He had it coming.
How'd you make that out?
You won't believe me. Ask her.
As I understand it, you've no defence. None at all. But what you might do, possibly, if there's grounds, is plead guilty and then offer up some kind of mitigating circumstance. Are you with me?
Aye.
If you can make out you were provoked, badly provoked, they might just decide to ignore your suspended sentence and be kind to you.
Yeah, well, it were.
What?
Provoked.
How?
Well, he's been pestering Sandra.
Is what?
Pestering her. You know.
No, I don't know.
Well, every time she went to that young wives and mothers do, he'd be outside waiting for her when she come out.
You're making it up.
No, it's not, Ted. It's right as that.
Waiting for you? I don't get it.
In his car. By the bus stop. Or walking on. You know, I'd suddenly... There he'd be. And he'd say things, you know?
Offer her lifts. Then he started flashing money, didn't he? Trying to persuade her to get in with him.
You're having me on.
No. No, it's true. It got so I almost couldn't face going. Well, you can't stop in, can you? Not every night. It's all I get. Going there once a week. It's all I can afford. Just me bus fare and a bit extra for bingo or something.
So what's happened? Thought you were going to sort him out, did you?
Aye, try and catch him at it.
Well, it got that bad. He wouldn't leave me alone. He just kept on and on at me. Made no odds whatever I said to him. Every week.
Over how long?
Well, 3 months?
Yeah.
Oh, you Daft beggars. Why didn't you tell us? You could be done for that. Persistent importuning in a public place. You didn't need to go and bash him. Law could have done it.
It's a serious allegation, Ted.
I'm aware of that, ma'am.
Could cause a bit of a rumpus.
Yes, ma'am. Only my sister-in-law's husband's facing prison for taking the law into his own hands. Well, that's fair enough, but it seems to me iniquitous if he gets done without the full facts of the case being made known.
So what did you have in mind?
I want this Ramsden fella charged.
You are quite sure in your own mind there's no chance you're being had on? It's just when it comes to family.
I have every confidence that what I've been told is the truth, ma'am. However, I'd expect you to be equally satisfied before any action were taken.
Oh, you know, it's not my decision. The alleged offence didn't occur in Hartley. It's up to Inspector Buxton at Tilden.
Understand that, ma'am?
I'll pass it on.
Grateful, ma'am. Between you and me, I reckon Tony Clegg's next door to worthless. I wouldn't put myself out on a limb just for him. Only, well, this time, if he got clobbered, it'd be a bit unfair, like.
See what we can do.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, to Shuttleworth Park Secondary. Headmaster Mr. Taylor reports intruders causing criminal damage. Says he knows them. 2 old students.
33, Sarge.
George.
We found that car that was head out the Bell car park last night.
Much damage?
Difficult to say. It's in the canal.
Nobody's still in it, I hope. Name Bob Ramsden mean anything to you, George?
County councillor. He's on the police authority as well, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. What else do you know about him?
Just a name.
I'd like you to do something a bit delicate for me. Maximum discretion, all right? I want to know whether he's ever been the subject of a complaint to do with importuning or sexual harassment.
Oh, Ramsden?
Also, whether he's ever been suspected of curb crawling.
Get those sort of answers. I'll need to ask her. He's likely got friends and influence.
You've got friends too, George. Mr. Clegg, I'm Inspector Darbley, Hartley Police.
I know. I remember.
Abstracting electricity, wasn't it?
You got memories like elephants, you lot.
Only we have computers to do it for us, though I doubt I'd have forgotten you, seeing as who you're related to. Is your wife in? It's her I'd like to see.
We told Ted. He took it all down.
Yes, I've read it, but I would like you to go through it all with me just once again, if you wouldn't mind.
Why?
Just so I can be sure I've got it all clear.
You don't believe it, do you?
I never said that.
Look, it right upsets me, you know. I just want to forget about it.
You can't, though, can you? If this goes to court, you'll have to give evidence.
Yeah, well, that's a bit off yet, isn't it?
It's a bit worse than this. They'll be making out you tried to egg him on.
Time what?
Is that what he's saying?
He's not saying anything, not yet.
Be a bloody lie if he does.
Look, Mr. Clegg, do you mind? It's your wife I want to talk to. You're not helping her or me. Now, why don't you just leave us alone? Take that baby for a walk or something.
I'll give you 10 minutes.
Make it half an hour.
You'll be lucky.
He's all right with him. He's not always. Only things are just getting on top of him, like.
Things not got any better since that do over the electricity?
Not really. Worse. We had to borrow to pay it back. Then there was the fine. I can't keep up with it. We never see money in this house. It's all gone before we ever get it. My little lad'd buy his shoes off jumble sales. You want to see him? Baby's nappies and out by the holes. Oh, my sister sends a lot over. What she's done with. I don't know what we do without that.
You getting all your benefits?
Yeah, my social worker reckons I'm.
Is Tony still drinking?
Not so much. It's not his fault, you know. He's been all right until it got done this time.
How did you find out about Ramsden?
Find out?
Well, did you tell him or what?
Oh, yeah. Well, I had to, didn't I? I mean, it'd been going on a bit. It were getting on my nerves. Only I never thought he'd go and... That weren't what I told him.
At the beginning, when it first started, it was just offers of lifts, was it? But you never accepted any off him?
Did I, Ek?
Not even one?
No. Well, you don't, do you?
So there's no way you could have got the impression that he was in with a chance?
Oh, give over.
So why do you think he kept on at you?
I don't know.
Tell any of your friends?
No.
So you don't know whether he was having a go at some of the others?
No.
None of them mentioned anything to you? We shall have to do some asking. It's just that if you are the only one, I wonder why.
Except that not many of them come from Hartley. Maybe that's got something to do with it.
You're the only one who has to travel?
No, I think all the others live local to it. And this Ramsden fella, he lives in Hildon, doesn't he? So maybe he thought if he tried it on with any of them, he'd be too close to home.
Could be. You can go back home again now if you want to. Only if you were to do that every day, it would be like giving your wife a holiday.
Morning.
Morning, Inspector Buxton.
Believe I'm expected.
Yes, sir.
Morning, Joe. Sir. Amazing what a woman's touch does to a place, isn't it? Mine's white, by the way, no sugar. Morning, Jean.
Morning, Harry.
You got the place looking very nice, I must say. I'll be winning prize for best kept station if British Rail ain't careful.
Coffee.
Should be on its way if your lads know how to take a hit. What's all this nonsense about Bob Ramsden then?
Is that what it is?
I'd say so.
I'm not so sure.
No, Jean, you can't give it credence.
Why not?
In Butchuni. Do you know him? Well, I do, and his wife. It's just not on.
Has been known.
Look, can you not accept that my knowledge of the man tells me this is just a load of rubbish?
Can you not accept that having interviewed the complainant, I can't see any reason not to believe her?
No reason. She's trying to get her husband off.
Oh, so why did he attack Ramsden in the first place? He must have had some reason. When he was arrested, what explanation did he give?
None. And if you're right, why didn't he?
How about Ramsden? What did he have to say?
According to him, she appeared to be trying to witch a lift, so he stopped. Young woman alone, that time of night, no telling who she might get picked up by, so he stopped. Next thing he knew, the husband was dragging him out of the car and putting the boot in.
If your constable hadn't happened to be there, do you think Ramsden would have reported it?
I think he'd be lucky to be alive.
No matter what way you look at it, if we believe her, it all makes sense. If we don't, it's all just question marks.
You know what Ramsden is, don't you?
Yes.
And you still want me to take it seriously?
Oh, come on. If you mean by that because he plays golf with the chief constable...
I mean he's on our side. He gives us a lot of support. I mean he's a good friend of the police and we don't have that many left. That may not bother you, of course. Higher considerations.
It's not my place to be bothered, or yours. Time enough to be politicians if we're ever promoted out of being working coppers.
Sooner for some, maybe, than others.
Coffee, Martin.
Oh, thank you, Martin.
Yeah, which is whose?
This one's yours, sir. No, hang about, sir. I'm terribly sorry. I think it's this one.
Sure, are you?
How do you have it?
No sugar.
Same here.
Well, that's right, Mum. I remember now. They're both the same.
Now, what about Ramsden?
I'll have to look into it, won't I?
Tony! Breakfast! Tony? You're in here. What are you doing in here? What's the matter? Who is it?
It's from solicitor. There's
not long now.
It'll be all right. I mean, now Ted's gonna... It'll be all right. Oh, Tony, where you going? You haven't had any breakfast.
I don't want any.
Mum?
I'm sorry to barge in on you, Ted, and as soon as you're on nights this week, I didn't know when I'd catch you.
It's no bother. I'll run in the garage, tinkering.
Would you rather be left?
No, I'd like to hear this, actually, Pat.
Sit down, Mum.
I'm afraid it's bad news. I'm sorry. I've just heard from Inspector Buxton that he's not going to recommend any action against Bob Ramsden regarding your sister-in-law's complaint.
He's not?
Why?
A, Ramsden categorically denies the accusation. B, in the absence of any corroborative evidence, and it seems there just isn't any to be had, it's just her word against his, which Inspector Buxton doesn't regard as a sufficiently strong case to take to court. And I've got to say I agree with him there.
You think she's lying?
A possibility.
She's not.
You, Mum?
Oh, what I think doesn't make much odds, does it?
She's not a liar. Does he think I don't know my own sister?
Can we not take it higher?
They won't prosecute, not just on her word.
Why?
You know why?
Because of who he is?
Partly. They'd want to be absolutely sure, wouldn't they? Not only that he'd done it, but also of getting a conviction.
So he's just going to get away with it?
I'm sorry, love.
Well, Tony'll still get done, though, won't he?
If he hasn't already done so, I would advise him to apply for legal aid.
Oh, aye, whatever happens, let's keep solicitors in work.
He could still plead provocation.
If we're not prosecuting Ramsden, I somehow can't see the court believing that, though, can you, Mum?
I just wanted to let you know. And I am honestly very sorry.
Appreciate it, Mum.
Bye-bye, Pat.
Thanks for what you've done, anyway.
Thing that sticks in my gullet, it's who he is. What he is. That's what's protecting him.
Not entirely.
Anyway, thanks very much for coming round, Mum.
Was he in?
Yes, Tom.
Good copper, Ted. Except when he's got a bee in his bonnet.
Yep.
There's no trouble, is there?
It's personal.
I heard his brother-in-law got done again. I remember last time. He gave that lad such a talking to, you'd hardly credit anybody could be so daft. Not a second time.
I'd like some inquiries made, Joseph. There's a Young Wives and Mothers Club in Hilden. I'd like to know whether they've had any members in the past year or two, apart from Sandra Clegg, who've come from round here and who've stopped going for some reason. And if there are, I'd like to know why they've stopped. When you can.
Are you believing sleep? You done off 5 hours ago.
Inspector in, Sarge. All right to have a word.
Aye.
Sorry to disturb you, Mum.
Oh, that's all right, Ted. Come sit down. You've been very smart.
Just been with a solicitor, Mr. Plantin. Expect you know him. I thought it only fair to tell you, Mum, he's agreed to act for my sister-in-law. He'll instigate proceedings for her to take out a private prosecution against Bob Ramsden. Just thought you ought to know, Mum.
Do you know what you're doing?
Mr. Plantin explained it all very clearly, Mum.
I don't mean that. You... Good God, Ted. She's got no case.
Best let court decide that, don't we?
Is this your idea?
I don't see she has any alternative, really.
You've put her up to this?
I shall support her, naturally.
Yes, well, I can see why you might have thought this was the right thing to do, but it isn't, Ted. Believe me. I don't think you can have considered exactly...
What choice has she got? You tell me. If the police won't take any action, what choice has she got?
The point is why the police won't take any action.
I don't care who Ramsden is. I don't care how much clout he's supposed to have. Personally, I don't see why there should be one law for him and another for all the rest of us. Law's the law, and if he's been breaking it, he should be brought to book.
I agree, but this isn't the right way.
She does have the right, Mum.
I'm not denying it. It's not so much her I'm concerned about as you. Your loyalties and responsibilities aren't only to her, Ted. You have obligations to me, to your uniform, to not making us look ridiculous to folk out there.
Inspector Buxton had behaved properly. It wouldn't have been necessary.
And who are you to decide, Constable?
All I have done is point out what rights she has and get a solicitor to act for her.
Who's paying for it? Have you stopped at all to consider what the ramifications will be? I don't just mean on me, or Inspector Buxton, or on the force in general, but on you and Pat.
All I know is I'm doing what seems right to me, and Pat's all for it.
I should have hoped you'd have had more sense. Do you know I have inquiries in hand that I specifically ordered to try and help your sister-in-law and her husband?
Thing is, from her point of view, Ma'am, time's running out. Tony's case comes up in 3 weeks.
You amaze me, Ted. I don't know what else to say. Go away and think about it, will you, please, about what you're getting into.
I've been doing naught else since you called round, Ma'am.
Then think again. You're making a mistake. A serious personal and professional mistake. If Inspector Buxton didn't recommend any prosecution, it was because there wasn't a case. And there still isn't a case.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ma'am. My sister-in-law's going ahead with it. Just thought you ought to know. Huh?
How was it?
She's going to be a bit bumpy, love. Can't help that. I'm going to try and get some sleep. OK.
Seen it?
I was going to warn you. Don't ask me how they found out.
That's not the point. The point is, what does this lad of yours think he's playing at?
In what way?
It's obvious her sister-in-law's only brought the case because he's told her to.
I can't deny he probably had some influence.
Oh, don't split hairs with me, Jean. It's his idea. He's doing all of it.
He believes that your decision not to recommend any action against Ramsden will result in a miscarriage of justice.
You agree with him?
No.
He's your cover.
His home man always has been.
You mean you can't control him? It wouldn't happen on my patch, I tell you.
It's not a matter of discipline.
Then what do you call bringing the force into disrepute? To say nothing of making out that I'm either frightened of Ramsden or in his pocket, because that's what it amounts to, a direct attack upon my personal and professional integrity.
To be absolutely honest, you didn't want to prosecute, did you?
If there'd been a case, you know I would have
Yes,
done.
I know, Harry, and I've told him.
So you did tell him? Pity is, then, that your lads don't seem to listen to you. I wonder why. Could it be you find it too unladylike to shout?
I have tried persuasion, and I'm still trying. Not only for your sake, as it turns out, but also because he's a good copper, and I won't want to have to lose him.
We're not bothered about whose sake it's for, as long as you succeed. I'll tell you, though, I came here looking for a bit of support, some genuine cooperation.
I am doing all I can.
I hope so. And you can tell your lad from me that if he don't stop, I'll make it my business to have him. And don't you be too certain you can protect him either, I mean it.
I'm sorry you feel you have to take it personally.
Well, who's being made to look incompetent? And worse. One thing, though. When headquarters holds an inquest into this little lot, person with most explaining to do will be you.
Do you mind if I have a bit of a personal word, Ted?
I didn't think we'd come in just for the drink.
It's about this,
I know. Gonna have a go at me, eh?
No. But I just wonder if you're being altogether wise.
What do you mean?
Well, let's take it for instance. Promotion. It's not just a matter of passing exams, you know. Do you see?
I don't see what my sister-in-law bringing a private prosecution has to do with that.
Well, you're identified with the case. You know who you are. Well, it's not as if you've gone out of your way to disassociate yourself, have you?
Couldn't.
It's bound to be remembered.
Can't say I'm right bothered. If I'm ex-sergeant, well, fair enough. I'd be quite happy to stay as I am, to be quite honest.
Making life very difficult for Inspector Darby, you know. She's catching a lot of stick over it.
I'm sorry.
Well, don't you think perhaps you owe it to her to do something about it?
Like what?
Have a word with your sister-in-law.
It's all a matter of principle now, isn't it?
You know what the lads down the station are calling you?
I might not have heard the latest.
P.C. Palmer, the kamikaze copper. Yeah, well, it might be funny. If it weren't so near the truth.
Fancy another? No, not right much point, is it?
Excuse me.
Yes. What can I do for you, sir?
You're Inspector. Inspector Darby, I believe. I wondered if there was any possibility of a word.
In connection with what, sir?
Well, it's personal, actually.
Your name, sir?
Ramsden. You wouldn't be Constable Palmer, would you, by any chance?
There's Mr. Ramsden out here, ma'am. Wanting to have a word? Yes, it is. Right. Won't keep you a moment, sir.
I am right, aren't I?
Yes, I'm P.C. Palmer, sir.
How do you do? I came here hoping we might get a chance to meet.
Excuse me, sir.
I don't bite, you know.
Mr. Ramsden, I'm Inspector Darby. How do you do?
Oh, Inspector. I hope you'll forgive me just dropping in, as it were.
If you'd like to come into my office.
Don't suppose there's any chance of Constable Palmer being able to join us?
I'm not sure that would be altogether proper, would it?
Can't hurt just to talk, surely. To be honest, that's all I wanted to ask you, if you'd be prepared to let me talk to him.
Constable.
Right.
Let's all sit down, shall we? I'm a bit unclear as to what you're doing here, Mr. Ramsden.
What I'm hoping to do is retrieve a very unfortunate situation. In thinking about it, you see, turning it over in my mind, as it were, it occurred to me that Mrs. Clegg probably relies quite heavily on Constable Palmer for advice. Only naturally, a brother-in-law policeman. So it seemed to me that if the constable and I could meet, if he could see the sort of man I am, then he might realise what a mistake this all is. I thought, if we could just talk, then surely you must realise that I couldn't. That it's inconceivable for me to have done the things your sister-in-law claims.
That'll be for the court to decide.
I didn't do it, Constable.
You shouldn't have any worries about going to court, then.
But the damage will all be done by then. Would it do any good for me to talk about the harm this is causing? The distress? Well, Mrs. Ramsden... My wife, she knows I'm innocent, but people can be very hurtful, can't they?
I'm sorry, but it's not to do with me.
And I'm sorry, but the impression I've received is that your sister-in-law wouldn't ever have brought the case if you hadn't encouraged it.
Still her decision, not mine.
But at least she'd listen to you.
Well, let's just say I'm not prepared to try and influence her, then.
Have you considered the effect all this is having? Not just on my reputation, but on yours as well. In one sense, it doesn't matter which of us eventually wins, because in practical terms, we'll both end up damaged by it.
That's politicians' talk. Sounding more like I expected now.
I'm not a politician. I'm a baker. I own a bakery, a string of confectionery shops, family business. But in my spare time, well, yes. I do what I can for the community. I look on that as paying me dues. I certainly don't have any concessions to supply confectionery to council's canteens, I can tell you that. I'm on the police authority too. Do you know why? Why I like doing it. Because I admire you lot, the work you do. I'm grateful to you for being there. I was grateful that night there was a constable near enough to stop your brother-in-law.
Is there any point in continuing with this, ma'am? I don't think I have anything further to say.
I see.
Look, Constable, I have absolutely no personal malice against you. In fact, I can applaud your loyalty to your family. But I must ask you to consider whether the attitude you've adopted is in their best interests. Let me put this to you. If Mrs. Clegg were to drop the case and her husband goes to prison, I'd make it my business to see that she gets help. And when he comes out, I'll even give him a job as a driver. Now, can I possibly say fairer than that?
Probably not, Mr. Ramsden. But I'm afraid that does constitute the offer of an inducement, and I wish you hadn't said it in front of me.
I was trying to be generous. I see this constable digging a grave for himself, and I'd like to stop him throwing himself in.
No need to concern yourself about me, sir. Let's just worry about justice being seen to be done.
I'm very sorry to have taken up so much of your time, Inspector.
As good as proved Sandra's case, has that?
No, Ted, not really. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. Is it a bad time? It's about those inquiries you wanted me to make to do with that Young Wives and Mothers Club at Hilden.
You turned something up?
Found a couple of young women who live here and used to go there.
Why did they stop?
First one's simple enough. She was having another baby. Second one, though, Maureen Clifford, I can't really say. She wouldn't tell me. Not exactly. Says she used to be a friend of Sandra Clegg's and used to go there with her. But when I asked her why she'd stopped, all she'd say... Well, not even that, really. All she'd imply was that they'd fallen out.
Over what?
That's what she wouldn't tell me.
It's a bit much, is this, you know? Twice in one day. Neighbours will be thinking all sorts.
Be fun keeping them guessing then, won't it?
It's not a bad idea.
This club over at Hilden.
Yeah, well, it's like I told you, Sergeant. I only went for about 6 months.
You and Sandra Clegg?
Yeah, that's right.
But then you stopped going?
That's right.
Why?
Don't know, really. Bit of a long way to go. Just didn't seem worth it after a while.
Sandra still goes.
Does she?
You don't see so much of her?
Well, I am. Not for a bit, no.
Earlier today, you gave me to understand that the reason you'd stopped going was because you'd fallen out with her.
Did I? Yeah, well, that was part of it, I suppose.
What was the trouble?
Just not my type, really.
That's funny. I should have thought you'd have got on.
Yeah, well, you can't always tell, can you?
Whose idea was it to go to the club in the first place?
Mine! I think.
You suggested it to Sandra?
Yeah, I think it were.
So what went wrong?
We just didn't agree about things, that's all.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know.
You must do.
Why? Anyway, what's it got to do with you?
That's a good question, isn't it, Sergeant?
I'll say.
Look, all I had in mind were a bit of fun.
How do you mean?
A bit of a good time, you know.
Few laughs, few drinks with the fellas.
Yeah, that's right.
First time I've heard of fellas going to a Young Wives and Mothers Club, isn't it you, ma'am?
You're playing at being single girls, were you?
Hey, look, if my Mick finds out,
He won't find out. Not from us. We just need to know.
It was just a bit of fun, that's all.
So the club was just an excuse to get you over there?
Oh, we'd go. Only sometimes we'd leave right early.
I'm going to ask you again, love. Why did you fall out with Sandra?
She started taking things a bit far.
You mean she wasn't happy to stick at a bit of flirting?
No, don't be daft. I mean... Well, if I fancied one, I mean, just occasionally, I just did it for fun. Blooming heck, how dense can you be? Do I have to tell you?
No, love, I think you just did. Hello, love. Is it convenient to have a word? This is Sergeant Beck.
Mrs. Clegg?
Do you mind coming in kitchen? Kids are having a tea.
Couldn't turn me.
No, he's not here. Oh, come on then, if you're only going to be a minute. Sorry. Sit down if you can find some space.
Is he still not being any help? I had to go to him, you know, the last time I was here.
I've not seen him for nearly a week. Oh, I know where he is. He's round his mother's. It's just all gone on top of him. The house, kids, you lot.
And does he blame you a bit for what happened?
Why should he?
I've just been talking to a friend of yours, love, Maureen Clifford. I don't think you've been entirely truthful with us, have you? Was Was Ramsden the only one? Was he the main one? When it first started, did he approach you or did you approach him?
I did.
And Tony found out, did he?
He found some money. Well, he knew that were wrong. I mean, in this house, it had to be, didn't it?
Poor old Ted.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the Bill.